Okay. Are you the type of guy that when you write a tweet, you think about it too much, or do you just go
Far too much.
You say you're not
I
the type
write
of
it,
guy
I
that
read
writes
it over, I look
Yeah.
at it and I go, that's not quite the tone I want to deliver. So like I'll remove a
100%.
couple exclamation points, I'll add a GIF, I'll add like a heart emoji just to try to like...
So often, I'm going to bring you up on screen right now. I'm going to do it.
Let's do it.
God, here we go. Transition.
Let's
Bam!
go, boys.
Everyone,
Bam!
TwitchyCoffee. Welcome to the podcast, dude.
Good to be here. Thanks for inviting me, man.
That's all right, man. First guest. I know this is like just a weird... I'm just like throw right into it. There's no special anything with this podcast. I figure we're just talking. May as well just get into it.
No, I love it. I'm seeing the layout that you're rocking right now, and I actually love it. It's super
really?
minimal, but it's fun to look at. I really do like it.
I want it to be very colorful and memorable. The thing was, I went with the colors I already had kind of for my logo. But when you when you then try and put it into a thing where it's just everywhere, you're like, holy shit, that's a lot of color.
Yeah, dude.
So I was hoping it wouldn't be too gaudy. I'm sure it will change over time. It's funny because this podcast, I've been wanting to do it for a long time, but I've only really had 4 days or so to put it together on asking guests. And then, because I just thought, I got to a point where I'm like, fuck it, let's just do it. So here we are, and first guest TwitchyCoffee, everyone. I'm bloody excited. If anyone doesn't know, I was on Twitchy's podcast about a month ago.
Yeah, I'd say it was about a month ago.
And we had
You're my last guest I had on before I went over to Japan.
Japan.
I figured you were a fantastic last guest before I had a little hiatus, and yeah, so I think I must admit, like, I'm not going to pick favorites over like which podcast I enjoyed the most, but if I was to gauge it on just the amount of hype, the chat activity, the love that was coming in, just how excited and energetic it was, like yours, like it raised the bar, man. Like the people that came in from your community and like, you know, they just supported what you were doing. They supported what we were both doing. Like that was just unfounded, and I was not expecting that level of support. So when it came in, I was like, holy fuck. But yeah, no, it was...
man. And you've had some great guests on, which I'm excited to say. I've got a couple of similar guests coming on down the track with Metal Maniac Matt.
You do indeed. I saw we've got your boy Matty, Metal Maniac Matt, coming on Thursday, I think it was.
Yeah, I'm so excited, dude. So I'm kicking off with some of, in my mind, the biggest guests that I could have. Some of my favorite streamers on the first week, and I'm kind of just blown away, dude.
Well, let's be honest, it's only downhill from here, right? You know,
I almost feel like I'm almost thinking it could be because I've kind of got my goals already. So anyway, good to have you on.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting a work call, but I'm going to totally ignore that because they're not as important as you are, you know?
All right, well, it's time to wrap this up then. You know, it's always important. But how you doing, man? First of all, how you feeling? You said you were feeling not too nervous when you started.
Fantastic, man. I have just been getting back in the swing of things, work and with streaming. I'm looking to move out, so I've been going to house inspections and trying to sort of like balance a stream and a podcast with, you know, life at the moment. It's a bit challenging, but
yeah.
It's, if anything, I'm motivated by the challenge of it. It makes me want to work harder.
100%.
I've got some big plans with the stream, hopefully soon. I want to get the ball rolling on those, like stuff like charity streams or like long marathon streams or subathons, things like that. And I find those really fun to work on as well. So I'm kind of trying to just dedicate as much of my free time towards those, but free time is dwindling by the minute. So
you're filling it up.
So, yeah, 100%.
And you're no stranger to doing charity streams. You've done a couple before. You've raised a bit of money here and there.
I
for charity.
I have done a couple. I think if I was to tally all of them up, I think we've raised about 10 grand for charities.
Holy shit!
Probably 90% of that went towards Beyond Blue, and the other one went towards Minus 18, which is like a Melbourne-based LGBT youth community group thing. So
bro,
yeah,
that's massive. $10,000.
Yeah, 100%.
That's wild.
I definitely didn't expect that amount. Not at all.
Yeah.
I did my first charity stream at 250 followers. We raised like $1,000 that time. I did another one at 500 followers, raised another $1,000, which was just fucking mental.
Unreal.
I did a 24-hour charity stream when I hit 1,000 followers, and we made, I think I know the exact number. I think it was $3,185 in that one go.
Wow.
And then I did another one maybe about a year and a half ago now, where we raised about $3,800 for Beyond Blue again. And that was about like a 12-hour stream where I just got plastered like off my tits. I was doing like $50 shots, and I also had like a bottle of tequila with a scorpion at the bottom. And I said like, $500, I'll eat the scorpion, haha.
Whoa, like a real scorpion.
A real scorpion. Well, it was dead. Like, it was in the bottle of tequila, but yeah, a totally real scorpion that I ate on stream.
Well, hold on. If anyone knows me, I'm not much of a drinker. I actually haven't drunk ever. So I'm so uneducated when it comes to alcohol.
Right.
Is there a reason for a scorpion being at the bottom of the bottle? What's the, like, is that just a novelty thing?
Tequila
or is it
it's a Mexican drink. And
okay,
so it's kind of like, it's considered to be a dangerous drink, like in terms of its branding.
So the scorpion's kind of a metaphorical, like a symbolism at the bottom of the bottle?
Oh yeah, it's definitely not like to add flavor or anything like that. It's
okay,
just
I was about to say, that's some weird shit. So big question, did you eat it?
I did eat it. It was a hard one to get down and keep down, but she managed to stay down.
Is there footage somewhere we can see this, or
I wonder. I think this was before the time where like VODs were saved and clips were made and stuff. So I don't know if it exists. It might exist in like an unlisted YouTube video somewhere in the depths of YouTube, but I'd have to go hunting it down.
Do you know what? That's a couple. There's actually things I want to talk about similar to that, but you know the thing that kills me is that VODs just aren't enabled from the get go when you start streaming. Because how nice
you need
would
to
it be?
actively go into your settings and tick it on. Yeah,
and when you start, you don't so much think about wanting to save your VODs for down. I mean, when you're doing things in the moment, you don't think about saving them because you think, oh, so it's now.
No, not at all.
It is what it is. But then, like 3 years down the track, you're like, damn, I wish I had all that. And so often, I just wish I had those old VODs so I could see where I started. And there's nothing. I have like one clip, maybe from like the early days. Do you have anything from like your really early days of streaming? That
I have my first ever stream.
Oh, you do?
Unlisted on YouTube, yeah. So I don't know why. For some reason, in my head, I thought that people would want to watch a 3-hour, 240p commentary on Fallout 3, even though it was already a 4-year-old game.
Yeah.
And no one was in chat. So I just spent the whole time going, how does it look, chat? To no chat, because no one was there.
The standard start of a streamer's career. Yep.
Absolutely, 100%. It was bloody garbage, but like I've gone back and watched it a couple of times, and it's so interesting to see, you know, 100%. The evolution of the channel from that point. I did save most of, like, I'd say maybe the first 5 or 6 VODs that I ever did, but after that, I realized that no one really wanted to watch them on YouTube, so I stopped exporting them to YouTube, and then because of that, I just lost them to history. So
I know. Do you regret now that you didn't keep it up, like, so you can't go back and watch the history?
Yes and no. I'm kind of happy that I have my first couple as a point of reference, but I think there's a lot of things that I probably did or said or went about that, like, I wouldn't want to advertise that I did today. You know what I mean? Like, I would probably be like, hey guys, like, donate money to me, please. You know what I mean? Like, before I even realized what Twitch culture and Twitch etiquette was. Like, I didn't watch streams before I started streaming. I went straight into live production. So I didn't know what people do.
What was... Okay, so that's crazy because I know a lot of people would have started by watching streams and being a viewer at first, as I was for a couple of years before I didn't even think about streaming when I first were watching. I mean, because Australian internet's so bad, you don't maybe go straight to thinking I could do this.
Absolutely.
With the internet, you're like, I could never do this. So what got you into it?
I didn't even know the internet was a thing that I needed to stream, because I just turned 18 or something like that when I'd started.
Yeah, right.
And I wasn't very tech savvy, so I didn't realize you needed a good upload speed. So I was trying to stream like 60 FPS, 1080p, 6000 kilobits on like a 0.6 upload.
And you're like, why is it lagging? Yeah.
Why is no one in chat?
Yeah. No, I had the same kind of experience. I didn't know anything about uploads or anything, because you don't really feel like you necessarily need all that. Like, it's crazy. Twitch really does give you almost like a bit of a crash course in live production.
It does. It really, really does. And not even just live production. It gives you a bit of a taste of what it's like just to work in all fields when it comes to live production. So you're a camera operator. You're on-camera talent. You know, you fix the technical issues. You do the social media. You do like the marketing. You do the content scheduling. You do everything all in one. And yeah, it's crazy to learn that all at once when you start streaming. You've
100%.
never done any of it before.
And that's the thing. It is a bit of a slow burn, though. You don't really like. It's like you don't. People jump into streaming and think that they're going to pick up on that instant. They're going to have it all instantly, but it's a journey to learn all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, and I find even if I took a couple of weeks off. Only last week I came back, and I felt like I had to relearn stuff. Like, just it's very easy for it to all kind of fall out of your head, and then you have to pick back up again.
Yeah,
do you find
100%.
if you take breaks? Because I know you took a massive break off Twitch for a while there. You were.
I did. I was off for about 2 years. Yeah,
which is like a fuck off huge break. How did you feel coming back? Did you feel like it all kind of came back to you, or did you find there was a lot of relearning? Did you feel like it was starting from scratch? What was the vibe?
think. Well, when I stopped streaming, I didn't have the intent of ever coming back. I was kind of like, I'm done with streaming. Streaming's behind me. I'm gonna go move on to another creative venture now. But like nothing. Like I did vlogging after the fact. I did like photography. I did a lot of other things, and nothing was quite as satisfying or rewarding as streaming ever was. So I found myself after that 1.5 to 2 years thinking, well, fuck, I wish I'd never stopped. Can I swear on this podcast?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Go for it.
Okay, sweet. I found myself thinking, oh shit, like I wish I hadn't stopped streaming, because I think if I had just been consistent and kept doing what I was doing, I would have really, made something big out of this. But having had the mindset that I was never going to do it again, I kind of burned the bridge, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So since coming back, I really do feel like I've had to start it from the bottom up again. Like, at the most basic level, like I maybe have had 1 to 2 people that have come through that used to be regulars in my channel. They might pop in and say g'day now, but for the most part, like it's building an entirely new audience on an entirely new platform, and it's been challenging. It's been very challenging, but I'm willing to take it on.
And you have, like, I mean, you've gone full force into it. You've got your 4G internet, which is, that's...
Oh, look at me go.
Bro, that's instant dedication. The minute you decide to get that 4G internet, that's when you know someone's serious in Australia about streaming.
Absolutely, man. 100%.
But as well, sorry, you go on.
Oh, I was just going to say that I was like it wasn't like I did it out of dedication to get the 4G modem. I was just getting really pissed off because it was like I hated 100%. Every time I'd try to stream, I couldn't play whatever I wanted to play. Yeah. The stream would cut out, I'd lose frames. And like, I just wasn't happy with creating content that looked like shit.
Exactly.
Like I couldn't find myself being content with that. I needed to spend the money. And I didn't do it to hopefully like to grow the brand or anything like that. I just wanted to make content that I was, actually happy to be able to look at and go, that's not too bad. So
exactly, because people don't realize the limitations of not having good internet, because it doesn't just lie with the quality. It's that you can't play online games or anything, because as much as it already takes so much to stream, then you can't even dream of playing. And so much of Twitch these days is online. People want to see competitive games. I mean, story games still have their place and whatnot, but it seems like the top stuff, people want to watch that, that high tier gameplay. If it's not just people talking and interacting and whatnot.
Right.
What have you been getting into since you've been back, like game wise? I know you've been playing a bit of Siege and whatnot. What's like
this is gonna sound really bad, but I don't even do that many games, man. If I had to describe the kind of content that I make, I'm a just chatting streamer.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing a podcast, which is just chatting, I'm just chatting to the audience. I find that every time I go to play a game, either the chat isn't interested or the viewers aren't interested. They're not there for the game. They're there just to have a chat, or I am unable to sort of divide my attention evenly between the chat and the game. It's either I'm talking to chat, but the gameplay is shit, so I may as well just turn it off, or I'm focusing on the game, but chat feel neglected. And I know a lot of streamers are fantastic at balancing those things. I just don't have that ability. So I'd much rather focus all of my attention towards giving the chat the attention. Because why I personally stream, if I just wanted to play a game, I'd probably just play it offline. And I do play a lot of games offline that I wouldn't stream. But when it comes to streaming, I would much rather make sure that the chat is happy and the viewers are happy than the game. So
100%. I mean, we're so similar in that way. I mean, like I've even done the whole just chatting thing for periods of time, because I just feel like games are too distracting from the original. I mean, when I started streaming, it was like I just wanted to talk to people, because I came from streaming on things like Periscope, where gaming wasn't even a thing. It was just chatting. It was just you and the people in the chat, and you just talk. So when I came to this, I used the game as a reason to be on the platform, but really I just wanted to talk to people. I think you're very similar in that way, where you're very much just wanting that interaction. And I think that's really the core of Twitch. So it is a bit of a juggling act when you throw a game in the mix, and you have to still focus on the game, and it can be a real. I think it's the thing I've noticed is you have to be quite top tier at a game at least, or at least really revel in the fact that you're shit at a game for people to want to watch you. If you're bad like me at something like Fortnite, you have to really lean into like just not caring too much, because then if you get triggered, then people are like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? It's one of those weird balancing acts. So I feel like I'm the same, and I think that's why this podcast is a lot better, because it's you just get to talk, don't have to worry about the games. It's like games are tricky, dude.
Absolutely.
I
actually think there's a massive amount of demand for this kind of content. I mean,
exactly.
You look at Facebook streaming, you look at Instagram, you look at YouTube, you look at Periscope, you look at Twitter. These are all platforms that have huge live streaming influencers, where a lot of people bring in massive audiences on these platforms. And clearly that just goes to show that people are there for the interaction and the engagement with the person, not the game. And sure enough, yes, Twitch is a gaming platform.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of people watch, the gaming, but only if the gamer is good at it. And if it comes to any other streamer, they're there for the person, So I figured it was a pretty safe bet to sort of hope that people would come for me and not the game.
Yeah.
But the only problem with that is just being likable and personable. I'm working on that. It's a process, but
well, I think you're already building back that community so quick as well. Of people that clearly love what you do and love sitting in and just hearing you talk. But I mean, it's one of those things. People, I think it's quite easy to sit here and talk. I remember back in the day when I was just doing just chatting and I was getting quite a few viewers. I remember another streamer who played a lot of games. He made an off kind of backhanded kind of comment that, well, of course he does because it's easy to sit there and just talk. But there really is a bit of a challenge. Do you ever find keeping up with chat or just making sure that everyone feels welcome? And because obviously when you're not playing a game, you feel like you have to acknowledge people to a degree where, because you don't have anything to fall back on. You can't have that excuse of, I'm playing a game. Do you find do you ever find that it's tough to keep people engaged just with talking, or do you find it's
a tricky one. I think I got the advice from Fazikins. I don't know if you've watched much of him.
I have a little bit, yeah.
But he got some good advice from. He got some advice from another partner streamer. I'm not sure who it was, but and he said it, and it really resonated with me. Where basically, you really, really can't ever forget that every single person that comes into your stream is an individual person that has a whole life that you don't even know about. It might come to your channel purely just to have some one-on-one interaction with someone. It's not to say that they're lonely or sad or like they're not doing great. It's just like you want to go chat with someone, just jump on a Twitch stream.
Yeah.
And so I try to make it a focus to everyone that comes in. Like, it's not just like a formula where you come in and say, oh, hey Abigail, or hey Aussie Tex, or hey T2A, and then just sort of leaving it at that. I really try to treat each person individually as if they were the only person in my stream.
Yeah.
So if Abby oh my god, Abby, how are you going? How was your weekend? I heard you were doing this thing. How did that go? Things like that where you have to each person's life, and I find that's the challenge. That's where I don't want to not do it justice. These people that come into my stream, they deserve this attention. They deserve to be remembered. They deserve to be, to feel included and involved. But it's obviously quite challenging for people like you or me, where it's to them, they just have to remember us. But we have to remember a lot more than one person.
Yeah.
So that's more the challenge for me to keep people engaged. I would say it's just making sure that they feel acknowledged and they feel important without, sort of getting burned out with it. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel on that 100%. I wanted to actually jump back to what we're talking about as well. When you took that 2-year break, you were making quite a few videos on YouTube. That was the platform you chose after Twitch.
I did.
I'm a little bit disappointed in you. I'm not going to lie. I was your biggest fan. If anyone doesn't know, Twitchy did a series for a while there it was once a week doing a vlog, where you pretty much pack like your full week into a vlog, and then chop it all up. And I think it was like on the weekends you throw it up on the internet for everyone to enjoy. And I loved them. And I actually went back and watched a few last night.
Oh wow!
I'm so mad. I'm so mad. If anyone hasn't watched them, go check out Twitchy. I mean, it's not TwitchyCoffee on YouTube though. You've used your name.
I've used my name. Yep. I didn't hide my name. It's just Sean Stebbings. That was very intentional. I didn't want it to be TwitchyCoffee because at that point, again, I had decided that I was going to walk away from Twitch forever, and then to me that also meant not being TwitchyCoffee anymore. That was just me being me. Also, the vlog was I feel like it was pretty personal. Yeah. And so like I feel like to use an alias like like a Twitch name would have been to disconnect myself from my audience a little bit. So to be like, hey, I'm Sean. This is me. Here's my week. Here's my life.
Yeah.
I was hoping that sort of to people who would watch it, they would feel a bit more. I keep looking into my DSLR, thinking that like you're over here, but I need to remember you're right here. What am I doing?
Don't even stress it. I'm never looking at my camera anyway. I'm always looking kind of off to the side of it, so don't even stress it. Looks good to me.
Oh, that's all good. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so vlogging was kind of that was definitely more of a personal project. I'd say with Twitch, I loved doing it, but I definitely had the goal of making it my job at the time. When I started vlogging, at that point, like YouTube's been oversaturated for forever. And so I knew when I'd started making that content, I wasn't going to go anywhere with it. It wasn't going to make me money. It wasn't going to make me like famous. It was just a way for me to make content that I liked.
Yeah.
And I came from like a background of actual film production, like live streaming and stuff. That was all after the fact. Like I've been making films since I was like 12, and you can find them on the same channel that I uploaded the vlogs to.
Well, I did happen to scroll all the way down and find a couple of little TwitchyCoffee. If you want to see Twitchy from a fair few years back, it's definitely a good little time capsule. But saying time capsule, you actually made a video on there about 5 years ago, I think, or maybe it was 4. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
I know exactly the one you're talking about.
The time capsule, and it was addressed to you in 2019. And this was when you were how old? 14 when you made it? Or was it in 2014 you made it? So you would have been...
Yeah, it's 2014. So I would have been 17. Yeah.
17. Yeah, so... And have you watched it? Have you had a cheeky peak since? Or are you still waiting for that? I have not let myself look. Really? So you're still waiting for that day?
Honestly, I might need your help because I actually don't know when I'm allowed to look at it.
Really?
Different times I've definitely been tempted.
I think it was August, towards the end of August, that you're allowed to look at it. But
I thought that was 6 months left to go.
I thought that was a really good idea, and I think if anything, I've always looked at making videos on YouTube and vlogs and whatnot as a way of having some form of time capsule. I feel like sometimes people get into it just to do it for other people, but I think I always tell people that there's always worth in making a vlog, no matter how high production it is, because looking back at it in 5 years' time. It's going to be it's saying that our parents didn't so much have, or our grandparents didn't have, that ability to just go out and film a day so easily, put it onto your computer and just have it there. You know what I mean? Or even upload it on something like YouTube and have it on the cloud, where people can watch it at any time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, in terms of the production quality of it, that was also definitely for me. Like I think it made it easy for the viewers and the audience to watching it as I was making it, but I definitely want to look back and see like how I've evolved as a content creator as well. Like with those vlogs, I really did give it everything I had, like because I would I'd be filming all day every day. I'd get home every night, I would edit that day's footage into the vlog, and then bam, next thing tomorrow. And I wanted to see how good could I make the content, like if I was under that that time pressure. And when I look back on it as well, I really do hope that, I haven't looked at them in a while as well. So I'm curious to see how they hold up. They
hold up. All your videos, I'm not blowing smoke. I honestly think you have a crazy talent for it. I honestly think it'd be a waste to not keep, I know it's a lot of work, but Jesus, I think it'd be a waste not to make more YouTube content. I know the problem is though, that it just does feel like YouTube just doesn't have so much of an in anymore. I mean, even just finding smaller YouTubers, it's such a mission. I tried doing the YouTube thing for a while, and it's just, I felt like it was good that I had an audience already on Twitch to promote the YouTube stuff too. But I thought if I didn't have that, it'd be impossible. I could make the best content ever, and just having people trying to stumble upon that to choose your video out of all this big sea of videos. And the thing is, the videos don't come and go. It's not like Twitch where it's who's live right now. YouTube is every
Forever.
day. There's probably millions of videos being added onto the big sea of videos that are already on there.
Yeah.
So it's getting more and more harder by the day to get discovered. It's kind of crazy. And do you think that's a bit of a turn off for people to jump onto
100%? Absolutely. I think a lot of people. I think it depends on why you get into it in the first place. You know, like you were mentioning, it's great that we're in this position where we can make content for ourselves in the future where like our parents and our grandparents couldn't. And that's definitely like a big reason as to why, you know, I kept my VODs when I first started streaming. I've vlogged ever since I knew that vlogging was a thing I could even do. And I think people get disappointed when they go in it for the wrong reasons, you know, and it's the same reason why people get burned out on Twitch. If you go in thinking, I'm going to be famous, I'm going to make money, you're not going to last very long. And
100%.
same with YouTube as well. Like if you go in thinking, okay, I'm going to get 1,000 subs in my first month, you know, I'm going to get like 10,000 views, I'm going to get monetized, like you're going to be disappointed. And that's definitely something that I would have liked to have happened, but that's not why I made the content I made, and that's why I went for as long as I did. And honestly, like I really would have kept going if I could have as well. We might get into it a bit later, depending on how drunk or feelsy I feel. But yeah, like I loved making the vlogs, and I would love to get back into it. It's just that even though it was only a year and a half ago or however long ago that it wasn't even. It was like a year and a bit. My life is so different. I couldn't even imagine how I would go about doing a vlog now. It would be incredibly challenging. Back then it was easy. I had a part-time job. Like I didn't really have that many commitments or things that needed my time. But now, you know, I've got a full-time job. I have to, you know, keep contact with my friends and my partner and my family, and I'm like looking to move out, and you know, all these things that they take away the time from. It's a balance, but yeah. I forgot what your question even was. I just rambled, but I'm sorry.
No, that's perfect. No, I like it. This stream should be just the Ramble podcast. I love it.
I love it.
Because I ramble.
You should call your podcast like the Ramble.
The Ramble. I know that would have been the first, or the Tangent, because knowing me.
Ooh, that would have been really good.
That's got a ring to it. I don't know. We can discuss. We can change things.
So how about this? You have the MattyAP podcast. I have the TwitchyCoffee podcast. But we also do a third podcast together called The Tangent.
I wouldn't be opposed.
And we bring on.
See, I was never opposed to the idea of doing another podcast that had the same guests or the same hosts every week, that we can discuss like current topics and whatnot. So I don't know, maybe that could be something there eventually down the track.
Ooh, maybe you and I can have a bit of a cheeky conversation after this podcast.
Hell yeah, I'm liking that. Ooh, this is going places.
I would love that.
I was gonna ask though, how feelsy do you feel like getting?
Oh, I'm ready to cry, boys. You can just like emotionally just destroy me.
Because I was wanting to talk about the other video, one of the last videos you made on your YouTube, which is a pretty crazy ride. But it shows how far it shows how far you've come. I think, what was it called? It was titled I Was Suicidal.
Yeah.
And I rewatched that last night, and it's so powerful, bro. It's I feel like a lot of people watching that could get a lot from it. But you've come from obviously some dark times, and seeing what you're doing now shows such progression. And I don't know really what I want to ask about it, but I feel like, was there like hesitation putting that video up? Because I feel like it would take a lot to be so open about obviously such a intense topic, and and you went quite in depth about it to points where I was like, holy shit. But it really gives an insight, but it really gives an extra level of respect to then go, wow, like look at what you're doing now. And you know what I mean? Was there something? Was there any hesitation to put that up? Or?
I have a lot of thoughts about that video. And like I do think about it from time to time. I don't think I could. I really don't think I could bring myself to watch it. But I remember sitting there and filming it. I remember what's in it.
Yeah. Have you watched it since you put it up on YouTube, or have you not?
I watched it when I put it up.
Yep.
And that was the first time I regretted it.
Yeah, right.
Like, as I was filming it, I was like, nah, I'm saying what's on my mind. And,
Yeah.
like, driving home, I'm like, oh, I'm going to say what's on my mind. And then I'm editing it like, oh, I'm going to fucking show these guys what's on my mind. And then,
Yeah.
like, I upload it to YouTube. And as soon as I press publish, I was like, oh, maybe they didn't need to know that.
No, I think it was great.
And I watched it back after it was live. And every time the viewer number went up, my heart sank. I was like, oh, fuck. That was one more person in my life that probably didn't want to know or need to know that. But like, to go back to what I was talking about earlier with the charity stream, I feel like I like to say that I'm a strong advocate for good mental health. I like to think that I do everything I can to support my friends in terms of their mental health. And like, I think it would have been quite hypocritical if I was to, you know, preach mental health, but also not have the ability to say what's on my mind and bottle things in and compress it. And maybe that was just me justifying it at the time. Maybe that was just me trying to find an excuse to rant about why I was having a bad time. I don't know, man. Like, I think that was just a really bad time in itself that I was recording. It wasn't the time I was recording. I've got so much I want to say about it, but I'm scared I'm going to get too feelsy.
No, please get as feelsy. I want to delve as deep as you want to go.
So when the time itself that I was actually discussing on the video, that time had since passed by a little while. I'd say maybe like less than a year, but long enough that I felt like I could talk about it openly. But at the same time, as I was recording that video and as I was vlogging, life was getting really, really fucking hard. And I think I was just a little bit, how do I put it? I was just pretty emotional a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And if I was gonna pin that video down to anything, I would say that it was just like, on the vlogs, I was pretending to be happy go chappy boy every single day. And there wasn't ever a time that I could just be like, yo, I'm actually feeling pretty shit today, to be honest. Like that I couldn't do that. But after the 8 or so weeks that I was making vlogs, it was really hard to keep it up, especially as life got a bit more challenging.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the events that I discussed in the video were just on my mind a lot. And I had to talk about it. I really had to talk about it. Like, actually, I'm just remembering a whole other part of the video as well. The reason I made the video was because I had someone very, very close to me, like a fan, reach out to me and say that they were feeling suicidal.
Yeah.
And
which you said in the video, yeah.
Yeah, and that was heartbreaking. That was really, really heartbreaking for me. And if anything, I'd say I also made the video for them. I would hope that I never asked them. I never went out to them and reached out. I knew they watched my previous videos. I don't know if they ever watched that. They never spoke to me about it, but I really hope that they did watch it, and I hope that they got something from it that, I don't know what they would have got from it, but hopefully that, you know, maybe some camaraderie. Maybe they would have known, hey, I've been through some bad times too.
100%.
Maybe we can get through this together.
I mean, the thing is, the title of it, I Was Suicidal, is so powerful. It's hard to go past that and not click it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things you kind of go, holy shit, like this is... It's one of those videos, you see titles like that where people... It's like someone posting a video and just says, I am ugly or something, you know, and you think, what is this person going to, like, what are they talking about? Because it's...
What's on their mind, yeah.
It's like a deep look into the human psyche almost. Not so many people are that open, especially just to strangers on the internet. So when you see that, it's quite an eye-opener. But I really do believe that video has so much potential that people will find that over time, over the years. I mean, that's going to be on for so long. And do you think it's saying that will help people over time? Is that...
I don't think that video is a good video to help people going through a bad time, because I think I wasn't in a good place to be giving the advice. It's kind of like a depressed person telling a depressed person not to be depressed. It's like, probably like... Yeah, I don't know.
It's interesting because the vibes I got from it weren't so much that. I got the vibes from it that you had come out of that place and that you're in a much better place during that video.
I definitely was in a much better place as well. Like, I can't remember what I described in the video. Yeah. Now I feel curious. I feel like I should go back and watch it.
You should go back and watch it, man. I mean...
That's going to be a feels trip, bro. That's going to be crazy.
But the fact that, you know, now you're back on streaming, you've got your podcast up and running.
Yeah.
And moving on to a happier topic, but you've also got a couple of sponsorships for your.
I do have a
Instagram
couple
podcast.
of sponsorships,
and I wanted to delve into that a little bit because I think a lot of people might be curious about how they go about reaching out to someone for sponsorships. Is it too early to reach out? When's a good time to strike? This and this. I want to hear I've never asked someone for a sponsorship. I'm an ambassador for a clothing brand. I haven't shared anything about it yet.
Right.
But that wasn't to do with the stream or anything. That was just more of an Instagram thing. And that was because they put a thing up and said, hey, we're looking for ambassadors. So I went, hey, sure. I want to know what your kind of vibe of reaching out to brands. And I know one of them is a friend's brand, perhaps.
Yeah, so honestly, I've asked this question to people that come onto my podcast as well. And the only reason I ask it is because I also don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I have very little experience with it. In fact, I'd say, the people that I've had podcasts in the channel recently are probably my first sponsors, I would say. Well, I'd say there's two. I'd say the first one is Quantum. And, in terms of that sponsorship, it's not that hard for anyone to get. You can literally just go to the website. You can apply to be an affiliate, and and you get it straight away. I guess
do they ask? Do you have to have bought the product first, or do they allow you to be an affiliate without even are they a new brand, or are they?
I think they're a very new brand. So honestly, I would say to you and to anyone watching, if you guys are looking for a great product that that would be great to support, and they might jump back on board. Yeah, go give Quantum check them out. Use code coffee and check out as well. But
there you go, you heard it first.
No, I'm joking. But but the way that went about was because I was using a competitive product to this, and they went out of business. The plug.
Okay,
let's go, boys.
That's what I wanted to ask. So I heard on your stream this story, and you mentioned they went out of business. I wasn't sure if I heard it right. We're talking about Rise Energy, right?
Yeah, so I was Rise Energy. I never actually got around to buying any. I had my mate Demodius send me a bunch.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, this is awesome. I'm going to go buy some. And you go to the website and it says, we're currently out of stock. Please come come back later and buy some. They're never going to have stock back. The company went under. Wow. But I was tweeting at them, and I was like, hey guys, I love your product. And I'd say that's probably the biggest bit of advice I'd say to getting sponsorships. I guess it's just actually using the product and actually liking the product.
Yeah.
And not only will it make it easier for you to promote something that you like, because you'll know what's appealing about the product, but also your audience will be able to tell, because people who watch Twitch, they're not stupid. They're very intelligent people.
Yeah. And
they can tell right off the bat if you're doing something for a cash grab, or if they're doing something because you actually like it, and it will make it profit as well. But I'd say it's also good as well, because a company, if they have someone come to them, and if they say, oh, hi, can you please, give me a free computer? Thanks, PC Case Gear. They're gonna be like, okay, well, have you ever spoken about PC Case Gear before? Have you actually promoted it? Have you bought any products here before? Do you have any relationship with us in any capacity prior to just expecting free things?
And I think, unfortunately, I would say probably the majority of people that probably hit them up for a free PC or a sponsorship are people that probably haven't even really bought anything, if not much, from them.
Ever.
Because I would say the people that don't even think, I think, it's a weird way. I would imagine there'd be a lot of people hitting them up in that way.
Absolutely. Sorry. Yeah, I would say that with Quantum, everyone can get the code. Anyone's able to get it. Yeah. But I guess it's what you make of it. So they gave me the code, but I'm guessing a lot of people probably just chuck it in their panels and then leave it, and that's it forever.
Yeah.
But I've been making an active effort to sort of reach out to them and say, hey, I love your product. Hey guys, come check out this product, and I think they recognize that, especially for a smaller company, they can really tell who's their biggest fans, who's supporting 100%. them, who's helping them rise from the ground. And
rise. Ooh, and
I had
too soon.
I freaked out because so that's
a bit of a sore one. Continue.
Bit of an unintentional pun there. No, and I think they noticed, because they when they came into my channel for my last podcast, and I was like, holy fuck, you guys are here. And then they watched the whole podcast. They subbed to the stream.
Yeah, I saw.
They supported in turn.
Yeah.
And that was just a really cool feeling.
Which is incredible brand management because it didn't feel like brand management. It felt
No.
like they actually gave a shit, which is huge.
Yeah.
And I've seen brands do that even on Instagram. There's a brand that it's a jewelry brand, actually where I got my wedding ring from, called Vitally.
Cool.
And they've got like 200,000 followers, but yet they still find the time. If you post a photo and tag them in it, they'll most probably like it. And it's like they must have so many people tagging them in photos and stories and stuff, and they'll they'll look at your stories, they'll like your videos, they might even comment, and it just blows my mind. And that makes me respect that brand more. I go, wow, they give it a shit, and it doesn't come across as gross promoting. It's not like they're trying to overly, but somehow it just has it does have that effect where you go, well, this makes me want to support them more, just because they seem more human in a way as well. And I think in a world of where everyone's, you know, so corporate and so pushy with branding and whatnot, I think when they do come across a bit human, especially in the field of social media and whatnot, everyone's kind of looking for that brand that just does seem a bit more relatable and a bit more human. It's hard to pull off, but I think Quantum's doing that well from what I've seen as well, which is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I really do think that it's like it's very uncorporate. I think I honestly would say it's probably just a guy just in his bedroom. That's just like he runs like an office or whatever. He spends his afternoons actually watching Twitch streams, actually gets involved in the content, and like even if he wasn't like working at Quantum, he would still. I don't know the guy at all, but I'm guessing he would probably still enjoy the content. He's not pretending just for the sake of promoting his product.
And that's the thing. I think that's the thing. You can see through the bullshit when people are just pretending just to get your money. So good on them. It's crazy though. Rise shutting down. It's
unfortunate.
Do you know what the reasoning was or what went wrong? Is there any,
honestly have no clue. I know Demodius, I think he has some understanding of it, but if I was going to say anything, I would say it was because their product was so cheap. It was like 40 cents for a drink, and you could buy like 60 drinks for like 15-20 bucks, which was just like insane. So I'm imagining a lot of people that would buy their products just didn't need to buy it again soon, you know, you buy it once and then you're good for a while. So they didn't have any repeating customers. So this sounds really technically and businessy to viewers within a stream, but I'm guessing they just like didn't have a good like cost to earnings ratio. Whereas Quantum, 100%. It is expensive, but like I think it's just as good, and they at least have a very good social media presence. And I think if that's what I'm paying for, then I'm totally okay with that, you know.
I have to say that Rise had some branding going on. Like I loved the look of it, and it looked like it could be up there with the greats of G Fuel and whatnot.
I know
G Fuel's American. Was Rise Australian, or was that?
I think it was even Melburnian. Yeah, absolutely.
Really? Yeah, and it's just, so maybe just shipping it out overseas as well, trying to compete with a big brand like G Fuel, especially when people even in Australia are all about G Fuel. It's just an uphill battle, man. So Quantum hopefully can get that market.
But I guess G Fuel has sugar in it, and it's very expensive. So I think like both Rise and Quantum. Yeah, so Quantum and Rise, they're both significantly cheaper than, and there's no sugar in it. And because of no sugar at all. Because I'm doing a diet at the moment where I can't have any sugar, like I couldn't even consider G Fuel. So so Quantum and Rise were just like a really perfect fit for me to try them both out. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right. Goodness. All right, I didn't know that. I kind of assumed that they were all just packed full of sugar. And I was like, fuck, that wouldn't be, I don't know, man. We were going to have these gamers sitting like, I must get good. And they're just like, why am I getting fat? You know what I mean? They just lose their mind. I'm drinking G Fuel once a day, 10 times a day. Why is it not helping me feel like an athlete? No, it's
G
great.
Fuel is sugar free, says Rowie. Oh, I had no idea, man. I feel like it's a case.
Unless maybe it started out not sugar free, and maybe they saw that maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was packed full of sugar. So it is interesting to think like there are alternatives to sugar when it comes to energy, because I mean sugar obviously is like that quick burst of energy. Right. What they're packing into it to give
caffeine.
Just a lot of caffeine, Jesus.
Yeah, this like each little tablet of this has 30 milligrams of caffeine, which is like the same as a long black. So if you just pop one of these pillies in the morning, you're good to go. Like,
really?
You're ready.
Do they say on the bottle how many you're supposed to have and how many you're not supposed to have? Is there like a lethal dosage of those pills?
I don't think they have any health warnings. What does it say here? Store in a cool night below 25 degrees. Keep away from children.
I mean, surely there's got to be like a limit to like.
Oh, there is 2 tablets maximum daily. Yeah, I'm seeing that. Oh shit. Well, that's
Wait,
not
I was
good,
about. Okay, that's my next question. What's your max you've done in a day? Sounds like we're talking about drugs.
Well, I have had 2 a day has been my max, but I did have 2 like within 2 minutes.
Oh,
so
God,
like
right, you're okay. Well,
that did the trick for me.
It was
for sure.
nice knowing you, Twitchy. All right, we'll get the next guest in. Get him out. No, I'm just kidding. No, you survive. I believe you'll pull through. But that's awesome, man. Well, sponsorships, bro.
We'll find a way.
Is there anything else you're looking at aiming for when it comes to getting other brands? Is there like an ultimate goal? You probably don't want to show your cards too much, your hand too much. But like, what's the plan in that?
My current PC that I use to stream and game on is old as shit and wasn't made for streaming at all. Like,
Yeah.
I actually like coming from like earlier when I was talking about how I came from like making videos, you know,
Yeah.
not live streaming. I built this PC to be a video editing machine. So it has like an Intel Xeon processor. It has like just a bad video graphics card. It's just not good for streaming.
Yeah.
And I would love to upgrade like
Step
a
it
whole
up.
new system. But obviously that shit's expensive, and a lot of people circumvent the expense by getting a partnership with a company where it might be discounted, or
Yeah.
if they bring in the big bucks, they get it for free or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously far off that, and I haven't been banging on any PC case gear or PLE computers doors yet.
Yeah.
But maybe one day that'd be a cool goal to have. And I think with partnerships
Yeah.
like that, you need to have a person on the inside. Like
Yeah.
I really think it's hard just to come in from the outside and go, "Hey, I'm a streamer. Can I have some free stuff, please?"
Yeah.
I think you need to like meet someone that works there, be mates with them, and then like be genuine.
Yeah. It's
that's probably my
it's
best
somewhat
bet.
connections, isn't it? It's either
It's always
I mean, it's either the
connections, yeah.
size of the stream. I mean, obviously, if you've got the numbers, it depends.
Yeah.
But it's also just connections do matter. What's your vibes on? Speaking of connections, what's your vibes on networking on Twitch? Are you grossed out by it? Do you like it? Is there like a good way to do it? Because I'm always on the fence about it. And obviously, but then you think about networking could lead to open doors where you know the right people. But then so many people get it
Right.
wrong. What's your vibe on it? What do you...
I am very pro networking, but I think people need to know, like, I think people have the wrong idea of what networking is. Like, I
Yeah.
think people need to literally just Google the definition of it.
Yeah.
When people hear the word networking, they think that, like, you're only talking to people purely to benefit from them in some capacity. And I think that's the app networking is. Like, I have this debate with my mate, Metal Maniac Matt, like,
Okay, all right.
on a weekly to semi-weekly basis.
I'll have to ask
where-
him as well when he's on the podcast.
Yeah, please do, because he
We
will
get
tell
two
you the
different...
total opposite thing.
That's good.
But he would be like, you know, like, I don't have an like disgusting if I'm like just trying to like get something out of someone. And I kind of try to rebuttal by saying, well, that's not what I'm trying to do either. You know, like let's say hypothetically I am at PAX and there's a Twitch staff member at the booth, and you know, a lot of people will probably go up to that Twitch staff member just to be like, hey, how are you? Like, I put weeks ago, have you accepted it yet?
Yeah.
I think it's really important to not look at those people as just something to benefit from. I would say that you really need to like see that person as an individual. Like, they are not defined by their job or, you know, their position. They are their own unique person. And yet there is something interesting about them that you can discuss, you know, like, yeah, oh, you work at Twitch, that's awesome, how is that? Oh, you know, like, what else do you like? You know, like, speaking to these people as people and not just as, like, a face for a company that you want to get in with.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I would say that anybody that, like, is very against networking needs, like, I think they've put a lot of pressure on themselves. I would say, you know, take a breather. You're not in it for a dirty, disgusting reason. And if you feel like you are, then just, like, reevaluate that and sort of, why are you doing it in the first place?
Because
sort
I
of
think
thing.
as
So,
well...
like,
I was just going to say, if you are in it for reasons, they probably, like, reasons other than just wanting to work alongside that person as, you know, I think when people are trying to use someone, it comes out eventually that they're being used. You know what I mean? I feel like even I...
Oh, I don't think it's eventually. I think it's almost straight away. I
People would
think
notice,
people are
yeah.
very like clued onto that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll give you an example of a great way to network.
Okay.
You know, I was kind of feeling as though I wasn't very close to a lot of the community members in the Twitch Australian scene. Not that they had anything against me, just that like I feel like after my 2-year break, my presence sort of like dissipated a bit. So I'm like, okay, how do I get back on the radar to the general community and like the streamers' audiences, and like how do I become like a name that people recognize? I know, I'll start a podcast. You know, because what I do there is I bring a new person on every week. Their audience comes in, they hear about me. You know, like, and yes, I benefit from the viewership of these communities, and like I benefit from like growing my network of streamers that know who I am. But at the same time, that is by far not the greatest thing about the podcast. I just love that I get to hang out with a cool person every week. You know, like to me, that's such a huge benefit. And I get networking benefits out of it as well. But that's definitely not why I continue to do it. And if that was the only reason as to why I did it, I think the guests that come on would recognize. I don't think it'd be a fun time for anyone involved. So I would say, just as general advice, just be relaxed about it and to
And I think that's the thing. Both me and you, we're both obviously on Twitch because we like to talk to people, because we don't really go about the game route. I mean, I've always come back to just chatting and talking to the chat and whatnot. So I think it's a natural progression as well, because it's just that next step of being able to talk to other people on Twitch and really give it that more interactive feel.
100%.
Yeah, no, that's good. Good answer. I know Tech said he was interested in the question. I think that'll be a question I'll probably ask a few people just to get their vibe on it, because it's it is a touchy question to a lot of people. You know what I mean?
A lot of people are very sensitive about it.
And even I was, but I think asking people what their opinion on it and discussing it, I think might change my opinion around a little bit to, I think some people do it right. I think there is just a lot of people out there that have, I'm going to be real. I think during the Fortnite phase, it brought in a lot of, I meant to turn my alerts off. Thank you for the follow, dude. Appreciate it. I feel like the Fortnite era of Twitch, essentially last year, brought so many new younger people maybe to Twitch, and we saw like a massive rise of people essentially coming to people's streams and being like, hey, I stream here, and starting not seeming to get the idea that it's not respectable to come into someone else's stream and self-promote. I guess we were seeing a lot of self-promoting. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
And I think there was just this big influx of that happening, and it's turned a lot of people really into these absolute don't mention your stream in my chat kind of people. You know what I mean? I think it's made people a lot more turned off the idea of having someone talk about their stream at all. And it sucks, because I feel like Twitch used to be a bit more of an open space where obviously most people, if they're on Twitch, they're streaming, and then you know what I mean? So it's a bit of a shame, and I hope that maybe it goes back to that, where we're not so worried about people coming on and
this might be a super controversial opinion.
I like controversial. Let's do it.
I think that definitely was a concern when Fortnite came in, that a lot of younger people were like, oh, cool, I can stream this game. I can get 3 kills. Awesome. And then they would be live on their console. They'd be live like on OBS. They'd have just their webcam and their game feed. And like,
lucky if they have a webcam, yeah.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Like, there was definitely an influx in streamers for sure. I don't think that was as problematic as people that were trying to capitalize off of these brand new young viewers. I think a lot of people, they recognize that a lot of young people are coming on board, and they entirely changed their content to manipulate younger audiences for monetary benefit. And I found that, like, this is just speculation. I don't have any stats, whatever the fuck, to prove that. I do think that the general morale of Twitch changed after Fortnite. I think a lot of people who were streaming before then loved the concept of building a community. Yeah. And Fortnite changed that, so people just love the concept of being a streamer full time.
Yeah, right.
And I think that purely comes from the fact that, you know, there's a younger, more impressionable, easily manipulatable audience.
Are you talking about people that have perhaps made their content a little bit more family friendly, and they've tweaked it so it's absolutely aimed at that demographic?
Yes and no. I would say that there's nothing wrong with changing your target demographic for growth. Like, I'm guessing we're both thinking of the same streamer right now, by the way.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
He was very smart to do what he did, and
absolutely.
He got very successful for it. Yeah. I would say that he teeters on what I'm talking about. Okay. I think a lot of people, like, more so just for selling out. Like, I have this joke where I sell out. you know, like trying to get some money for your efforts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't fully
fleshed out in your own head.
Thought about this through. Yeah, pretty much. It's just sort of something that I've personally sort of observed. I'm like, oh, this seems a bit of a home vibe now.
It's such a fine line, the whole selling out stuff, because it's like, would you not yourself take these opportunities? It's hard. It's like, where's that fine line of feeling like you've sold out? Is Twitch even saying you can sell out? I mean, it's like, would you look at the point where a streamer is releasing an album of music, a compilation album with a whole bunch of tracks from different artists, and it's nothing to do with what they essentially, but it's a marketing thing,
right?
Is that selling out, or is that just smart in setting yourself up for the future in a way that inevitably when you can't stream, or your stream isn't as popular as it used to be, you know what I mean? You've got all these things set in place that secure. It's very hard to
yeah. Well, like, I mean, Raw Genesis said it right there in chat. Selling out is the dream.
That's a
I
quote
would say,
right there.
if you're in a position to sell out where you can go big with it, like, fuck yeah, chase that dream, sell out, like, make your money. Fucking, you've earned it at that. I think the problem comes from when people try to sell out before it's their time. Yeah. You know, like when, like, and that's where we said earlier, like, how soon is too soon to start getting sponsorships and brand deals and whatnot on your channel. I think that's when you need to sort of really look at what you perceive as being selling out. For me, the way I see it is you're selling out if the quality of your content decreases as a direct correlation and as a direct result to trying to raise money. So hypothetically, if you plaster fucking, like, you know, like, donation goals and sub goals and, like, bit goals and, like, the bit cup and, like, the bit boss and all that shit, if you plaster that on your stream, your stream looks like
bit cup down.
I mean, I think there is a way to tastefully include all of these things I mentioned,
100%.
but, like, you can definitely tell when you go into some of these channels, okay, this motherfucker is just trying to make some money. Like, I don't know, this also might be controversial. I think me and MattyAP, Matt, and chat, we have a very similar opinion on this.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to asking the same question.
If you are not a full-time streamer, but I see in your donation goal you have rent bill or phone bill or, like, internet bill, I'm like, ooh, you can go fuck yourself. Because it's like...
I mean, it's hard, like, though, because, like, I agree in a way. I do agree in a way, but it's like... then what's the difference then with having a donate button at all? Because where would that money then have to go otherwise? It's like, what saying where the money's going, what would you say? I'm not saying it's good,
I think it's best not to include it at all. I think, like, if you just say, hey guys, if you want to financially support this stream, buttons down below, buttons there in chat, like, here's how much has been donated in the last month. That's fucking awesome. That's really, really cool. And, like, I think those are great ways to incentivize donations because people love seeing how supportive people have been and people love jumping on board. I think the problem comes from the... I think if someone uses a donation goal and they have rent, they are suddenly putting the obligation of paying for their own rent on you, the viewer. Yeah. You know, like, it is your job.
They're going after a bit of a guilt trip, perhaps?
Guilt tripping. Yeah, it's like, if you're supporting a streamer, you should not feel pressured to do so in any... Like, you should... And if someone's got a donation goal for fucking $380 and it's like, oh, this pays for my rent for the month, it's like, well... I would love to donate to you, but I feel like you expect me to donate to you now. Like, that's how I...
no, I feel you on that. 100%.
Yeah. I probably could have worded that better, but...
No, I totally get where you're coming from. I think it's also like it could also be a case by case, because what if it's something like a medical bill? What's your stance on that?
Then absolutely.
Like, if someone's like raising for themselves, like because I know a particular streamer at the moment who's raising money to get their wisdom teeth pulled out, which is like $2,500 or something. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Which I think you said you went to the dentist recently and had a...
Yeah, I had 3 teeth pulled.
Oh, you've already done it?
It would have been like 6-7 months ago. Yeah, that was fucked.
Wow. Bro.
The bill was even more fucked too. That shit's. I'm still paying it off. It's an expensive thing to get done.
Can I ask what you?
Yeah, about $2,500. Yeah.
It seems like that's the amount, bro. My teeth are fucked, and I just don't know. Like, I do not have the money. Oh,
dude,
time
like,
to put a
I'll
donation
get real
goal up.
disgusting with you in chat. I probably shouldn't
do
say
it.
this with
Nah.
with a bunch of people watching. Like,
Yeah,
my
let's do
teeth
it.
in my head were literally rotting. Like, they were going black. Like, they need to get the fuck out of my head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm getting equally disgusting. I actually have a tooth I chipped on popcorn. Fuck popcorn. I love it so much.
Oh,
But it's dangerous.
yeah.
It's the devil. And it's
Dude, I don't like popcorn at all, and like I'm so happy I don't like it.
Oh,
Because,
bro,
like, I
it's
feel
one
like
of my
my teeth would be
favorite
so much more
things,
fucked.
man. I haven't eaten in so long, but I chipped it, and it was fine. It chipped off the side, but now it's starting to look a little bit gnarly, and I'm like,
Right.
fuck, I'm probably gonna have
Does
to
it
get that
hurt?
tooth. No, it doesn't at all. And people are saying until
Has it hurt and then now it doesn't?
no. So people are saying it's
Okay.
okay. It might be you might be safe, but I have wisdom teeth that are absolute fucked up the back of my
Yeah.
mouth, and I'm
Yeah.
like, but they never hurt. But they're pretty, like, there's not much to pull out. Let's just say that much.
Right.
Because wisdom teeth are stupid. Can I just say that much? It's they come in late, and then they make it really hard to brush.
Oh, they're
up the back.
bullshit.
Like, how are you
They're
supposed to
totally
brush
bullshit.
it? So it's like,
Yeah.
what a mess. Yeah, wisdom teeth
It's
are just
fucked
pretty
up.
much assholes, as Mustafa says in chat. I agree. Yeah, I can't believe it. But yeah, anyway, getting back to the like donation goals and whatnot. Someone had something for $2,500, and they're in a short amount of time, they've already reached over $1,000. And I
That's
think,
amazing,
Like,
yeah.
that's great. You know what I mean? But yeah, I kind of agree then. But it is a real fine line of asking people. There's also another streamer. I don't actually watch him, but I watch a lot of YouTube videos of compilations of him that people make. He recently got hit. He's always people see him as a sellout and whatnot because he's always asking for money. But he
Who's
doesn't.
this, by the way?
Is it bad if I say?
Should we not say?
Do I get in trouble if I like blurt out? It's a streamer called Darkside Phil. He's been around for like a decade on YouTube, and now he's on Twitch. I think
Right.
but he still does stuff on YouTube. But
Well, that's the thing. I think if someone is consistently like, "Oh, guys, I've got my wisdom teeth out. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, here, have $10. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, but now I need to go to a chiropractor. Oh, okay, here you go. Oh, but my vet bill just came up. It's like you
I
can
think-
always pin something on that. You
Yeah.
know, like there's always an excuse.
And it
like
seems-
if you really do have a genuine one-off medical issue that you need to fund. Obviously, if you're in a position where you have an audience that is willing to financially support you, that is a fantastic opportunity that you should capitalize on.
Yeah.
But if you were doing it consistently, that's where for me it drifts into the gray area where it's like,
Yeah.
well, again, there's nothing wrong with getting donations consistently, but to put the responsibility on your audience for these things that, like, what would you do if you weren't a streamer? Like, you'd be fucked.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like.
I
you
guess
should only-
I guess that's what they're trying to say though, is that they say I'm a streamer, therefore this is what I do, so help me continue to do it. If you like my content, you'll pay. I guess that the other side of the coin is that no one's holding a gun to their head. That's what I always kind of think. No one says you have to pay. No one's shaking them by the ankles. So I always think that's kind of one of the things with streaming. Donations are very much they're up to the audience. No one tells them
Right.
they have to. So it's very tricky. It is one
But
of
I
those.
think at that point it's
but it's a
self-detrimental.
respect.
I think
It's a respect to your audience as well.
right,
yeah.
absolutely. Like, I think you and I, we have very unique perspectives when it comes to this sort of thing because we're
Yeah.
streamers, you know, like, and we have, you know, received donations in the past. We can go into a channel and we can see, you know, what is the streamer doing? How is the audience reacting to that? And like,
Yeah.
we might perceive that differently than what a viewer would. So, like, if I go into a channel and I see someone that says, "Oh, paying for my vet bill, please give me, you know, like $800," like a viewer might go into that and go, "Oh, wow, they need to pay for their viewer bill." I mean, they had to get their wisdom teeth for, and the month before that, they had to go to
Yeah.
a chiropractor. But I guess it's another thing. But I will go into those and just because I'm not going to assume every viewer is like me. I'll go into those streamers and I'll go,
Bit sucks.
that's a bit shady. And like, there's no gun to my head, like you mentioned. There's I don't have to donate, but I am then given the choice to either be okay with what they're doing or leave. And I will usually just leave because I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't have a lot of
that's-
respect for that sort of.
Okay, so that's what I want to ask. All right, what if their content is top tier and you love the streamer, but then they have just a pay my rent donation goal? What's
Right.
the tug of war there? Do you just go fuck that amount? I have morals.
Oh
Or
no,
do you
it's
go,
not like
"I'll let it slide
it's
'cause
not
I-"
black and white.
Yeah, okay.
It's very
You let it
complicated because, like I
slide
said earlier, to me, selling out is when the quality of
Quality
your
goes down.
content
Yeah, bring it
decreases
full
because
circle.
of your efforts to monetize your content. So if you're still making great content, that's awesome. Then, like, I suppose do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
I definitely would still prefer streamers not do things like that.
Yeah.
But I guess, yeah, if the content's still good, then that's what everyone's there for, you know? Like, people aren't there to see how someone's doing in terms of their fundraiser. They're just there to watch cool content.
Yeah. Although
So as long as the content's
I
cool.
do find it interesting sometimes that the hype of seeing money flowing into a stream seems to get other people hyped up.
Oh, 100%.
Sometimes, and it's a weird way to be. Like sometimes when there's money flying on a certain stream on one day, people just it might coax other people to the audience almost seems to love that shit at times, but maybe it's not. When
Oh
it's
yeah,
for
and it's not just for donations. Like if like a sub train or like a follow train,
people get
like,
amongst it, which is
absolutely
an interesting way of hyping up because it's obviously only really helping the one person out.
Right.
The people in the chat, I don't know if it's just because it's a crazy moment or if they're happy to see that the streamer that they watch and love is getting the support, which means they can keep doing it. It's
I think it's probably all of that, man.
Yeah.
I think above all, I think people just like feeling involved. You know,
Yeah.
like I feel like if someone comes in and they donate, you know, $10 and someone else donates $10 and someone else donates $10, you're definitely thinking to yourself, oh man,
Maybe
I
I
should
should jump in. Yeah,
I want to
100%.
I want to chuck in $10 just so that
Yeah.
way I contributed to this amazing moment for this person that I really admire and appreciate.
Yeah.
You know, I think definitely people who donate in that situation, they get something out of it too. It's obviously not as tangible as money,
Yeah.
but like it's something that's a bit more emotional. It's like a sense of satisfaction, a sense of like accomplishment that you've helped contribute to someone else feeling great. And
Yeah.
and I suppose it is definitely like in the truest sense, it's a feeling of generosity. You know, like
Yeah.
in times that I've given to these charities, like I've felt fantastic, and I'm guessing that you know people feel the same way when they donate to their favorite streamer. Like, wow, I feel like I've done something good for someone, and
Yeah, 100%.
yeah.
With that as well, what's your vibe on? I know you're a bit of a stickler for quality when it comes to streams. Do
Right.
do you honestly think quality matters when it comes to streaming? Because I know you talk quite a lot about streamers that are quite they're at quite a large size, but they don't have quality. Do you think it always matters? I know I ask that because I know you're very particular on your quality, and I almost feel like I am
Yeah.
too. With now cleaning up my room even so it doesn't look like a piece of shit, and trying to get some lights going on and stuff. And I always wonder, does it matter? Does it change anything when it comes to the reason I ask this is because you say people want to be involved, because people do have the more you stream, people get an emotional attachment to these people. They're here
Yeah.
for the person. Do you think jazzing up a stream, because I always wonder this, because I would almost watch a great personality in a sitting on a toilet, in a public toilet, because it wouldn't matter where they are, their personality shines. But I wondered, do you
Right.
think it really matters because I thought, did it matter I did all this? Does that matter? Do people rather not see this? Do they rather see my messy ass room because that's more personality? I always wonder if the background affects people's mindset in any way, even with green screens. You know, people. I always wonder the battle between, do people use a green screen or not? Because without a green screen, you can see their environment.
Yeah.
I always wonder what really. I guess there's no definitive answer, but what's your vibe on it? Do you think it would matter tomorrow
feel
if you?
two different ways about it. I would say the first way I feel about it goes back to what I was mentioning before, where like I think it's incredibly important for content creators to actually make themselves enjoy, you know. And it's like when I was doing the vlogs, you know, like I was making vlogs as if I would want to watch them. So like I was making vlogs that were similar to vlogs that I enjoyed watching. And same with streams, you know, I try to make my stream very similar to streams that I watch. But not only that, like I just like the 4G dongle. I just like making content that I would personally be okay to watch. So hypothetically, I would not be okay with watching a 360p stream. Like,
okay, I mean, because that's definitely not. I'm talking more about backgrounds and whatnot. Because I'm the same. When I had like 360p and whatnot, and it was pixelated as fuck. that to me, I'd go, I wouldn't watch this. Is it almost like if you look at your stream and you go, I would sit here and watch that, is that good enough? Like, or is it, should we always be striving to make our environments and our streams more top notch? Or do you think
in the same way, I like the reason why I do all this isn't necessarily for any sort of like direct relation to boosting, you know, my audience or like creating revenue, anything like that. I purely do all of this stuff just so I like the way that the stream looks more. So I guess like, and when it comes to is it worth doing or does it make a difference? For me, yes, it does, but only in the sense that I am happier with the content I make.
Yeah.
It's and maybe that does change something down the road. Like maybe it makes me feel more confident, so that way I'm more fun or funnier on stream. Maybe something like that. I don't know.
It's about having pride in just the quality of the stream and whatnot. Yeah, I agree. I think that's 100%.
Just a really good general rule. I think it's really important to have a lot of pride. Like, you know, for someone like yourself or, you know, anyone that's watching that's a Twitch streamer, like to be a dedicated Twitch streamer, hours of fucking work, hours and hours and hours. So like, what's the point in making content that you're not proud of? Like you may as well, you know, be sure that you're proud of what you make. Well, that's kind of how I see it anyways. But I guess the second part of that as well is like, for me, it's a bit of a hook, you know? So like if someone comes into my channel, the first thing they might think if I didn't have this is goes, okay, he's a bald dude. Okay, he's just talking. Yep. Okay, he's still just talking. Cool.
And it doesn't set you apart, does it? And
not at all.
It's that's the thing about especially just chatting. It is very hard to set yourself apart from the crowd because everyone is just doing the same shit, and at face value we're all just saying the same words and this. It's very hard to get a grip on someone's personality in just a couple of minutes, and that's really all you have a lot of time with new people. And I have noticed that since I put like just this lighting and clean my room, it is also because the thumbnail is important, right? Like in a way,
100%,
that thumbnail
absolutely
draws people in. So I've started thinking that is almost one of the biggest things I've noticed is that there's more randoms jumping in, whether they stay or follow. It draws a few extra people in. Since I felt like just chatting before my room was just boring, had no real aesthetic. New people weren't really coming in during just chatting. I was thinking, wow, it's really hard to get noticed anymore on this.
Well, that's exactly what I mean when I say it's a hook. Like what it can do is it can pique people's interests, you know, and like you can get that click, and sometimes that's all you need, you know. Like if someone is in your channel, you've managed to get them in, then it's up to you, the personality, to keep them there. Because like RGB lights are going to keep people there for about 3 fucking seconds until they get bored, and then like after that they'll just fuck off if they don't like you.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, I think so it's balancing that with being an engaging, interesting, funny, interactive person, and as well acknowledging them in the first 0.25 of a second, because if you don't, they leave. It's definitely I'd say it's part of it, but I don't think the difference that it makes is enough to justify it unless you're also just doing it for yourself.
So, exactly.
That's probably the advice I would give. And I would say to your light setup, like I think that's fantastic, man. I love that. I think that's like every motherfucker has got what I've got with the RGB lights.
No,
just
I feel like every motherfucker's
you know?
got these nano leaves. You don't overly. That's the crazy thing. It's in a way it's in your face, but it's subtle at the same time. Because I got these because I had a bunch of gift cards, and I got from JB Hi-Fi. I didn't know what to spend them on. So I thought, fuck it, I'm going to get those lights that I've seen. But once I got them, everyone has them. Have you noticed that since you've got your
lights,
everyone
you
notice
RGB
everyone,
lights.
You're like, oh my God, I'm not unique. Like you notice more.
And it's so funny because the whole point was I wanted to be unique with this. And now I've just done the exact opposite thing.
And it's funny because I'm kind of like, well, then are they more subtle than I realize? And heaps of people had them, but I didn't notice. Or did everyone just all of a sudden get them? But I think there is a bit of worth in putting some effort in. I've always kind of been like, let my personality shine and don't worry about putting too much effort into everything else. But I think the initial, when there's so many people on Twitch now, I think there is that initial pool that you need to have to get people in, just so you have that chance to show them that you're worth their time, because getting people to come in is just the first step.
Well, this is just me showing my hand a little bit.
Okay.
Going back to what you said earlier, where like, you know, the thumbnail is really important. You know, that will really sort of make or break a person's decision to click on the channel or not. That's kind of why I do a lot of these like zoom in, black and white, flashing rainbow effects as well. Because like, given how frequently I use them, there is a very good chance someone might be scrolling through Twitch
and then
they'll see just my face zoomed in, black and white, or like with like a I don't know. It could
some
be
sort of party
something.
going on, and it's
absolutely.
eye-catching. I mean, do you do the same thing I do, which is to scroll the just chatting section sometimes, looking for someone new, looking for someone different?
Yes,
And it's
but
very hard to just your eyes to even see something unique. It's
I don't really like. I definitely search through just chatting, but I almost never really land on someone that I stick around with.
It's
Like
so
I
hard.
have not found someone that I've actually like followed and then continued to watch in a very long time.
yeah, it's tricky. I think a lot of Twitch now is becoming either word of mouth from raids or other people just seeing a streamer. It's becoming that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I have
absolutely.
found, I guess in the last year or so, less people just stumble into my stream. It might be just because of me or whatnot, but it's just, I think there's just so many more people doing
Yeah,
it. You know?
I think as well, every streamer has a very personalized, dedicated audience. I don't know how else to sort of word that. Where it's like, I could see any of your viewers and like, I'll go, that is one of Matty's viewers.
Yeah, that is
like,
true.
That isn't like a person that watches like this. I'm like, no, that is Matty's viewer.
Yeah, that is true, yeah.
And so, like, even myself and Metal Maniac Matt, you know, like, I'd say we make very similar content, yet our audiences are entirely divided.
Yeah, right.
And even though we do a lot of collaboration, his audience is very unique to him, and mine is unique to mine. So, I think no one's going out and finding new streamers anymore. They kind of person they love, and then they just fucking stick it out. Like, they just chill with that person until
Yeah.
they die.
Yeah,
So,
well, that's the thing. So I wanted to ask you about that. Going back to when you said you took two years off, and you went before you took the 2 years off. Not trying to backtrack too far, but you had
No, go for it.
around 3,000 followers or something like that. I mean, close to that. Saying before you took the break, you had a lot. You were
Yeah, I kind of went from was nothing to 2000 very quick.
Okay.
And in the 2 years off, I lost about 150 followers. But like, that's just like the actual number that's shown. Like in reality, I lost every single person. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and that's the crazy thing that it's like you have to wonder where those people do go because it's
yeah.
you say because as loyal as you build a fan base, it's funny after taking time off, you do after a while go, hey, where'd that person go? I haven't seen them in ages.
Yeah,
and
especially because like when they're there with you every day, you genuinely do expect them and depend on them to be there.
Yeah, and you
Like,
consider them
I'm
as,
sure
you
you've got
start
people
considering
that
them as
are
friends and whatnot.
Yeah, like you chat with them like outside of stream, like you got them in Discord, like you play games together, like that sort of thing. And you take a break, and then suddenly, you know, they vanish, and it's crazy.
Do you have
I'm
any
guessing you have people chat here that are here every day? Like I'm sure.
Yeah, that's
you
it.
do.
Yeah, 100%. I hope they stick around for a long time to come, but I never take it for granted anymore because of the fact that I've seen so many people come and go. Do you have any people, not saying by name, but do you have any people you think back on, even before you took a break, that you think, shit,
All
I
the
wonder
time.
where they are, or like,
All the fucking time.
it's like almost how could you
Yeah,
not?
there was this guy. I might not call out his Twitch name because
No, that's
very
fine.
small chance he might be watching.
Imagine.
But there is this guy that like you yourself, you have a couple of like high roller donors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was this guy that used to come into my stream. He dropped like $100, and that was like how he introduced himself for the first. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
okay, good to see you too, sir. Thank you for coming into my stream.
Is it always,
And,
is that a bit of a it's a when someone comes in and the first thing they do is support you in a way like that, do you ever feel skeptical? Or is that when
Yes, like right off the bat, I was like, this motherfucker's gonna he's gonna refund that. I'm gonna keep that in pay because like I know he's gonna just refund that straight away.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a oh god. I mean, not that happens often, but yeah.
No, it's quite rare these days, but yeah. But then like after he did that, he was in the next stream, dropped
Okay.
$100 as well, and I was like, oh, thanks. And then
Wow.
like did it again, another one, and like every stream he was in, he dropped a minimum. And I honestly feel like sometimes he wouldn't come into my stream purely because he thought
felt
I
like-
expected him to donate if he came in. And so I
Yeah.
would literally reach out to him often and be like, hey man, you do not have to donate. You are more than welcome just to sit there and chill. I don't expect the money, just happy to chill. And then there'd be the occasional time where he would donate, you know, like $500 or $1,000 at once. And I'm like, holy
Wow.
fucking fuck, like that's mad. And then I think one day I actually got pretty drunk. I ended up just reaching out to him and said, hey man, I need to know. I'm sorry. I just have to know. Like, did you like make it big on Bitcoin? Like, are you fucking like? Are you an accountant? Like, what's the deal, man? Like, what's going on? And he broke my fucking heart because I was expecting there to be like some mad reason he just had so much dough.
Yeah.
And he said, nah, man. I'm a chef. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, I earn $15 an hour, and I work 12 hours a day, and I work 6 days a week. And when I come home, I drink a beer, I watch a stream, and I donate, and then I go to sleep. And then I wake up the next morning and repeat. I go back to work for 12 hours every day. He works, drinks a beer, donates to my stream, and goes to sleep. And like, I was like, dude, you make like an X amount of money per year. You give a motherfucking large percentage of that to me for nothing, because I sit here and play video games. And like, I'm like, can you like, dude, like, buy yourself a holiday to fucking Bali, man, or like, I don't know, like, just treat yourself, because I really feel like I don't deserve this much support. And he's like, nah, man, I don't have much going on in my life except for you. You make me happy. I love watching your stream. And like, that fucked me up. Like, and I don't forget that time.
That's insane. It's you don't realize the impact as a streamer you can have on people. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I've had people hit me up and thank me for streaming or ask me for help. And it's like, holy shit, you don't realize when you go live and you just fucking around, make a couple of dick jokes here and there, you don't really think about the fact that there might be someone jumping in that almost uses what you do to take their mind off things. And I feel like that, the thing about Twitch is that it's so real. You feel like you're connected. It helps take your mind off. If you're watching a movie or something, sometimes that can be, you know, I mean, Twitch has got that. Yeah. But it's easy to forget that. And then
it's so easy to forget, man, that like we're just a couple of dudes just playing games when we get bored, you know, like we're just guys. You wouldn't ever think that, you know, we just have this ability to even change one person's life in any capacity at all. Like, but to have people literally reach out to someone like yourself or myself, where like they say, wow, you made my day really good. Thank you so much. Like, I was having a bad day. I watched you. I feel good now. Thank you so much. And like, that's huge.
Yeah. It's just people saying, you know, I think for anyone telling not saying come at me in Twitchy and say you love what we do, but I'm just saying it's
no, do it. Feed my ego, guys. Please message me and say that I'm amazing.
But honestly, people don't realize like the impact that people have when they just hit you up and say, hey, I love what you do. It helps. I'm not saying that you should just do it because, you know, but it actually really goes a long way, because streaming, as a streamer, you don't really think about that. And sometimes that can be the push you need to then keep going and doing what you do for more than just yourself at that point. You know what I mean? You don't realize the impact you could be having. That's what I look back
on the charity streams I did, man. And I tell people this all the time, where like the charity I've done a lot of things like while streaming, because I've just been streaming for that long. Like charity streams, I don't forget them. I remember them so vividly, like it was yesterday, and it's by far the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. Like, not even just streaming, just in general. I feel like the charity streams that I've done have been the things that it's how I've impacted the most amount of people in my life ever. Yeah. Like, I've never been in a position where I can actually like help a lot of people at once until I was streaming. And then, you know, like I say this story all the time, where I think it was my 1,000 follower charity stream I did, the 24-hour one. We made money for Beyond Blue. We raised $3,100, whatever it was. Yeah. I got a handwritten letter by the CEO of Beyond Time about a week or two after the charity stream. And the letter said something along the lines of like, wow, thank you so much for your support. That was fucking mad. I really, really appreciate that. So like we've delegated the...
Is that the exact words? That was fucking mad.
I'm paraphrasing a little bit there. That was fucking mad. Bro.
That was fucking mad. Big Shaq
but they said... No, they're like, we delegated the fund and you saved about 60 people's lives.
Wow.
And I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Wow.
Like, I literally just like, I didn't sleep. I had a lot of soft drink. I played some video games and I chatted to people. Yeah. And then I got a letter in the mail saying I saved 60 people's lives. Like, I kind of feel like I'm sucking my own dick here at the moment.
No,
I can't forget harder. That. Like, that was nuts. Like, I don't feel like I deserved that. You know what I mean? But like,
that's insane.
It's crazy to think that we have the ability to do that. It's nuts. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, I haven't even, that puts it in perspective. If anyone's ever wondering if it's worth doing a charity stream, that's your fucking answer right there.
Yeah. Well, someone in chat right now, they actually reached out to me recently. Said, hey, really? I want to do a charity stream, but I might not have the gear, I might not have the audience. And I'm like, no, like, literally just do it. Like, if you make $5 for a charity, that's fucking awesome. Everything you made helps. $5 for a charity today. You probably could have made nothing, but you made a difference, you know? Yeah. So I really try to encourage as many charity streams. And like, we literally do have the most generous motherfucker, Raw Genesis, in the chat right now. Well, you know, he did throw a baby in the oven once, but
I heard about the baby. I also know that Raw donates a lot of his Twitch earnings.
Every cent that comes in, like every donation, goes straight towards diabetes
insane,
research. Yeah,
which is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
To be so selfless. There's not a lot of raw Genesises around. You know what I mean?
Don't tell him that though. He'll get very defensive. He will adamantly argue to death that he's not
I know. I listened to
person.
the podcast and I was like, "Come on, bro, just take it."
I know.
I may have Raw coming up on the podcast at some point, so might have to grill him about that a little bit more.
Oh, please do. Round 2, Raw. Are you ready?
Oof. We're gonna throw down. All right. I want to go to another. We've already had a bit of a chat, a serious chat. But there's a reason I'm bringing this up. You talk about your hair quite a bit. I don't know if this is a sore thing to bring up. That you are going bald. Your words, not mine. We're going to get a look here. Hey, there we go. I think that's still a good amount. I'm not going to lie.
You're full of shit. You're lying.
You got a good amount on the back. Now
on the back, yeah. Like, I'm okay there. It's just really thin. That's my problem. So yeah. But sorry, continue.
The reason I bring it up is because I'm pretty sure there was like a deal or a bet made that if you were to shave your head, I might have dreamt this.
Oh, I know where this is
MattyAP
going.
Matt would cut his hair.
He's gonna kill me. The fact that you know this. Yeah. Okay. So he
I swear
basically.
it was on a stream that was said. So I don't know. Or maybe it was on your podcast.
He was very manipulative with his words. That cheeky motherfucker. He pretty much said.
Okay.
What I thought he said was, if you shave your head, I'll shave my head. And I was like, you bet, I'm already bald and you've got like more hair than like any woman in your family. So yeah, let's go for it.
I would have done it instantly, dude. I'd shave my head just to see him.
But then I said it on stream and then he messaged me privately because he was so mad at what I said. I'm like, you literally said that to me. And he's like, no. I said, if you shave your head, then I might consider it.
Oh, come on.
And I'm like, you pussy.
Yeah,
like,
that's a backtrack
your words back, mate.
Yeah, can't
yeah,
do
100%.
That. All right, so it's so he'll be shaving his head as soon as Twitchy. So what's the go?
I'm thinking about shaving my head for the charity stream that I do soon.
Yeah,
I'm thinking,
right.
Like that's the time to do it, you know.
Have you ever shaved your head? Like
no,
ever?
Never.
See, neither have I, and I almost have you considered it even just back in the day just to see what it would look like?
No, I was very I had longer than average male hair back.
Yeah,
in the
because
day.
I even saw in your YouTube videos it was quite lengthy. You had like a nice.
Even then, that was short for me. Like in high
really?
school, I had it like shoulder length. And like I did have a full head of hair back then. So like, yeah. But I've actually had a lot of people come to me recently and say, "Hey, man, are you actually okay about the whole hair thing?" Like my partner, like Matt, is like, "Yo, are you actually alright, bro?"
Yeah.
And I honestly, like, I'll be real for a second. It definitely does come from a place of insecurity. I think I really am genuinely upset about the fact that I am going bald at fucking 22. It's bullshit to me.
No,
but
100%.
You know, like there's nothing wrong with being insecure. There's nothing wrong with having like these weaknesses. But like, I think it's really important to tackle them head on.
Yeah.
You know,
And
like
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like if I'm constantly addressing it and I'm not trying to hide it, then like it takes away a bit of the sting of it.
Yeah.
You know, like if I'd never spoken about it and then someone in chat once says, "Wow, his hair is thin," I would be devastated for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I would end the stream. Like I'd be that upset about it. But I've very intentionally made it essentially like a meme. You know, like so someone's like, "Oh, you're balding cunt." I'm like, yeah, I am. Like, it's,
I mean, because I almost feel like that's the thing. I always feel like you bring it up more than like I don't think I've heard anyone in history ever bring it up. But you're the one that always brings it up, and I would imagine to try and deal with it as well.
Well, not even that. Like people used to bring it up quite a lot, and I think that was the kind of the point where I switched and said, okay, I can't hide it. I'll just own it.
Yeah.
And I think because I'm very open about it now, it's less interesting to people. I think they're like, yeah, we knew he's bald. He talks about it every fucking.
Yeah, I know exactly. It's people don't bother bringing it up. They expect you might bring it up, or that he knows, dude. Like he talks about it. So
yeah, absolutely. Or it's also even funny if like a person that's never been in the channel before comes in and goes, "Wow, he's bald," and it's like he's never been here before, and you can tell because it's like, okay, well, he thinks that
easy way to spot a new person. Yeah, 100%.
No, I think that I'd say the worst of it's behind me. I would say that I definitely wouldn't have considered going bald ever in the past, but I think at this point I will feel more comfortable with the way I look and who I am if I do just go bald. Which is unfortunate. I would have thought I could do so for a couple more years, but
Well, how quick did you find like the decline was? I mean, I feel like for me, like I freak out thinking I'm going bald, and I'm 32 this year, so I'm getting on a bit. And they say at 30 your hairline recedes and whatnot. And I'm like receding a little bit. I don't have like the thickest hairline. And it's like I look at it constantly and I kind of go, all right, just prepare yourself, Matt. It could be time.
Tell yourself now. Yeah, seriously.
And I think that's almost like the thing you have to do when you're a male and it was in your family at some point. And you have to go, well, maybe I need to fucking start just saying, hey, you might have to just, what I mean? Did you have a moment when
I think for you as well, you were in a very unique situation because a lot of who you were and who people identified you as was just a really hairy dude.
I know.
Like, it was the beard and the hair. Everyone's like, fuck, he's got a lot. Like,
So I can't imagine being bald. And my hair has always been pretty much my identity. I've been through a million different hairstyles, including the Good Charlotte big spikes, from the Lifestyles of Rich and Famous, where they had the big, massive spikes. I had that back in the day. I used to do that, like crazy shit. I was very gothy as a kid. I don't know what the deal with that was, but it's so the thought of losing and not having that identity, but it's almost like you get to a point and you feel like, do you need that for your identity? You know what I mean? It's almost like it's tricky. But I was going to say as well, do you find Twitch is a good way of thickening your skin? Or do you find could be something that can break a man? Because I don't even know yet.
Yeah, look, I suppose I couldn't really say either. I think it definitely thickens you in some ways, into the sense of like, I think it makes you very hard to some things, but very sensitive to others. So, for example, like, if I had started streaming and someone had, like a random person had come into the channel and said, wow, you're fucking fat, I would have been like, ooh, my feelings. But like, if someone was to do it now, I would have been like, you know it, brother. And that would have been, that'd be it,
Yeah.
But I think if I had, for example, a streamer that I consider a friend, or if I had a viewer that I consider like a regular, if I had either of those sort of situations criticize me or my channel or my actions or my words, I would take that deep, because like I really do care about my channel, and I really do care about my friends in the scene, and I really do care about the people that come and watch me. If the people that I care about have something negative or critical to say about me, that's going to really mean something to me.
Yeah.
Whereas if I have no relationship with that person and they're just a brand new person, that's just
and you just imagine they're going to everyone's stream and talking shit, trying to get a reaction.
Yeah,
so
right.
Yeah, it always cuts out
I definitely
deeper
think it's yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd say it's maybe more jaded as well, streaming. I would say that I was very I kind of wore my heart on my sleeve a little bit in the past, but now I feel like I'm a little bit hardened.
Yeah.
I would if someone had come into the channel and like they hadn't had much time on Twitch, they didn't understand Twitch culture, they were kind of like either self-promoting in my channel, or they were like, saying like homophobic or like sexist or racist remarks or whatever. I used to kind of be very forgiving. I used to kind of be like, oh wow, just don't do that next time, buddy. And I did warn you 10 minutes ago. Please not do that. Now I just go fuck ya and ban, like, because I don't have the time to teach kids how to not be kids.
Exactly, and you don't owe it to them. Do you think partially the not wanting to ban people on a whim? I think this is a trap that a lot of newer streamers fall into.
Oh, they're very scared to lower their viewer number.
Exactly, because back when I started, I would let people spit on me in text form.
Yeah.
And not lose, because I wouldn't want to lose that. And it's like, I think that's something you learn as you go, that the morals versus the views as well isn't worth it, but also just the community vibes that you lose aren't worth it, having people like that floating
absolutely.
around.
I think streamers need to see it as either a short-term benefit versus a long-term. So, like, if you, right off the bat, if you are allowed to be just the worst versions of themselves, then anybody that's coming into the stream right away will either feel like they have to be the worst versions of themselves to be involved, which is really bad, or they just won't want to be involved because it's full of bad people.
Yeah.
And either way, that's a bad outcome if you allow rampant negative
Yeah.
activity. And sure, you like if you're a low streamer, a lot of trolling people go to those low viewer accounts just because you can fuck with them and get away with it, sort of thing. Like it's like trolls and like people like that. They get they thrive off that shit.
And they know that you're going to notice. The worst thing to see is when I do one of my things where I scroll down to someone with like 2 or 3 viewers, and you see someone come in and talk shit to them, and you think, wow, like this person's literally got nothing at the moment, and yet they still attack them because they know that they're going to see it. There's no point trolling a big streamer like Ninja or Dr. Disrespect because they're just not going to see it. Plus, they always have their stuff on sub only and whatnot. They go for the
plus they've got a thick skin, you know, like nothing you can say to a person like a Ninja or a Lyric or Tinder Tap man, like they won't give a fuck because they just look at you as like another person in chat. Like it's when you have that many viewers, it is incredibly hard to be treated as a unique individual, you know. So like understandably you just get treated like a number, which is like it's the unfortunate reality of it. But if you are that's if they see it. But if you're in a 1 to 2 viewer chat, they will see it and they will read that over 20 times until there is a new message in chat because they'll keep reading chat and then read the same message over. I think it's incredibly important for streamers to know that if you allow it, you will that toxic person might stick around. They might not because they might have only just been wanting that rise out of you. But if you off the bat, you know, sort of foster how do I put it? If you foster a community where there's a certain guidelines that, you know, promote a healthier community, you will actually probably find growth a lot quicker. You know, like I feel like if you make an environment that people feel safe and comfortable and happy to be in, then like not only will they probably stick, but they might get their friends involved. You know, they might share your stuff on Twitter. They might like be a more active, supportive member of the community, which ultimately means you grow faster. So it's very easy to let that toxic person be there. I've rambled about this. It's very easy to let that toxic person be there, but I would say it's definitely in every streamer's interest to not do it. And with the exception of some streamers, they make being toxic their shtick, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's and I always find that crazy. I mean that
it blows my fucking mind
that people would want that, but then there is a market for that. There's a big market.
I mean,
but what's the reward?
There's a female streamer in Melbourne that I can think of right away. And she's a lovely person. She's really cool. She makes high production quality content. I think she's really funny and all that stuff. But her chat is the most disgusting chat I've ever been in my life.
And they just let it flow.
They don't do a single thing about it. And like they make memes about it. So if you go on their Twitter or you check out the title of their stream, it's like, I have a boyfriend, leave me alone sort of thing. Or it's like it's like turning away like sad Twitch 12-year-old boys again. Like it's like their whole gimmick is that they get abused. And rather than, you know, it promotes more of the toxic attitude that they're pretending to hate.
Well, even
you know,
people
like
that might otherwise not have been toxic are then going to start thinking, well, it's my place to just, you know, let loose. I saw Tex is dipping out, but have a good one, Tex. Appreciate you, dude. I was just going to say...
Yeah, I was just saying, invite him now.
No, 100%. That's good. That's good. I feel like almost in that sense, bringing full circle, I think that's almost being more of a sellout at the end of the day than when it comes to money. Letting people shit on you for views or promoting that. I think that's a way of selling out in itself. And I think people see that and kind of think, this is, you know, but then it seems like there's a market for that. I also wanted to, we're deep in this podcast. We've actually made it very easily go.
Oh shit.
Yeah, bro. This has been a little too easy if you ask me.
I'm not going to lie. I was really worried that I would be really short with the answers that I give. I was worried that you would have questions and I'd be like, oh, blah, and then that'd be it.
No,
fucking hour and 47 minutes. Yeet the boys. Let's go.
And the thing is, this is exactly what I was hoping for the podcast, is that I haven't even referred to my notes at all. Everything just brings up something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's what I hope for it, that everything you say kind of brings something up in my head that I kind of go, oh, I want to delve into that a bit more, and you know. But I was,
and I found I've had that with my podcast too. Like I've had like yourself or Fazikins or like all these other members that, like, you know, some people come on and they just I ask a question, they give an answer, bam, next question, let's go.
Yeah.
But like I've had members, especially yourself and Fazikins, where like I just took a back seat and like that just went with it, and I loved it for that reason.
I think that's it.
I think this podcast has inspired me quite a lot to sort of try to change direction a little bit with what I'm doing myself.
No, that's great. I'm sure, with me watching your podcast and you hopefully tuning in for this one, although it's every day, so it's good. I'm not expecting like people to be like, I'm here.
I'll do the best I can, mate.
But I hope that we inspire each other and what's the word? We motivate each other to try new things and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think if anything, I want to see these two podcasts grow together. You know what I mean?
Well, if anything, that goes to speak in just terms of like collaboration and community in general on Twitch. Like I think a lot of people have come to myself or Metal Maniac Matt being like, oh, you just copied that from Matt. Oh, you just copied that from Sean. Yeah, we did copy from each other, but we're like also best friends. And like,
exactly.
And
that's
we come up with these
off.
Yeah, absolutely. And so like, we're essentially part of one another's stream in a very accidental way. Just because we like the same content, we like the same ideas, we have ideas, we share ideas. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with sharing ideas and like growing together, even if it means you get inspired by people. There's nothing wrong with that on Twitch.
Yeah, 100%. And there's always going to be those. With you having your own community, there's always going to be sub communities. Or not so much. Your community is always going to be a sub community of another community. I like to think that my community is in with the Metal Maniac Matt, the TwitchyCoffee, the Raw Genesis, where all our viewers are kind of they're intertwined in a way they really travel around that circle, and there's other groups of streamers
that goes against what I said earlier, where I was saying how each viewer, they have their sort of own streamer they watch. But like in recent times, I found after having you on the podcast, a lot of your beautiful viewers have come in and chatted with me, and like same with Matt's like audience or Fazikin's audience, like people have come in and like we essentially create like a network where like viewers will watch all three of us. Like it's crazy to think about. I love it. It's super fascinating.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's just the whole being open just to build a wider community, not just your own, because I think, and it's not for any reason, just that at the end of the day, it just feels good to have that support network and feel good about the people that you can bounce off. There's a lot of benefits. I think a lot of time, I think like I was saying with the whole self-promotion and stuff, I think it's good when you have those people that you feel safe in the circle and that you're all on the same level. I think as well, I wanted to ask, because you'll probably want to dip soon. I don't want to hold you for 2.5 hours.
I'm in no rush, man. I really am not. I was going to go live at 8:30, so I've got another hour and 40 minutes with me if you want it, man.
Easy clap, baby. All right, we're going to go right up to 8:30. Bro, I'm just kidding. I won't. But I wanted to ask you about your IRL streams, because you were doing a few in Japan. I know Matt was doing some as well, or you were at least wanting to.
I was on Struggle Street there.
Yeah, so what was it like doing the IRLs in Japan? I won't even ask about Japan, but I'm also just curious about just going over there to a foreign country and trying to make that all work when it can be hard enough to make things work, in the country you're from,
I got to be real with you, man. I think this question is definitely going to be better suited to Matt.
Matt, he did a few more
streams.
Yep.
I attempted one and stopped after half hour.
What was because I know you were also doing IRLs a while back. I actually delved a bit back on your archive of Twitch.
Oh, wow.
And I know you did a few for a while there. With the Japan one, what was like the issue you came across with that one?
Oh, there was too many to even. Yeah. It was insane, dude. So it was our second last night in Tokyo, and firstly, it was raining like no one's business. It was just insanely.
Yeah, I didn't know it was raining a bit. Yeah.
It was also windy as hell. Yeah. So like right off the bat, that was going to be hard to walk around with the gimbal and also an umbrella. So that was tricky. As well, I thought I had all of my IRL setup stuff done on my phone prior to even leaving the country, but when I got into Japan, all of my settings and whatnot reset itself. So I had to try to log back into my account to get get access into the channel. But then it needed my two-step verification code, so I needed to turn on my cellular data, which gave me international roaming charges just to receive the text. Like, it was just a lot of technical issues. It took me like 40 minutes just to get the stream running how I wanted it.
Yeah.
And then after that, we walked out of the motel, myself and Matt, and we were both holding out gimbals and umbrella and stuff. And I was just not having a good time. Like, I think that was one of those times where I really had to sort of take a step back and look at what I'm doing and say, well,
is it worth
fuck.
It? Yeah.
It's my second last night in Japan, and I'm sitting here trying to fucking fiddle around with a phone just to get this to work, to make content that looks like shit and sounds like shit, and no one's gonna want to watch this, and I don't even want to make this. Like, this is not a good way to spend my very precious time in this country. So I called it quits for that night, thinking that I would get around to it either during better weather or better situations or whatever it was. But just for the rest of the trip, I found myself just not wanting to do it. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it.
I 100% agree, because I've only been overseas once. I went to America a couple of years ago. And you have all these ideas of making all this content just for yourself even. But when you get there, you just want to experience these places with your own eyes. And I think it's you really do, when you're constantly looking up on a phone or this and this, you do have that taken away.
Yeah. And I think as well, Japan is like, it's notorious for having sort of a respect element to every level of its culture, you know what I mean? So it's like, I was really worried that to Japanese people I was going to come across as very rude, like especially if I walk into like a very small ramen store with a gimbal. I was worried that people would feel uncomfortable with me being there, and I didn't want to do that either.
I feel like that's everywhere though. I feel like walking into I did obviously the IRL streams for a little while. I was going to go full IRL streamer. That was the plan. Sydney IRL streamer. And the two things that I kind of came out from that experience with was that, one, it's extremely exhausting. Probably the most exhausting form of streaming. I don't think you really understand how tiring that shit is until you do it, or at least try and even do it every day. I couldn't even do it every day. Every second day I'd be so exhausted that I couldn't do anything. But as well, what was the other thing? The other thing was just, what was the other thing I was going to say? I mean, the main thing is just being tired. Oh, yeah. And then you have all these ideas of what you want to do on stream out and about. But then when you get down to it, I'm pretty comfortable holding the camera in front. I don't really feel weird talking in public. But it's when you want to go into an establishment or something where you know it's not so public anymore. You're instantly not giving that content because you're waiting for someone to yell at you to say, get the fuck out.
And not even that, like, you essentially start to sacrifice the content. And like, I'm not throwing Matt under the bus here. An example that I would have been a bit uncomfortable with. So like, on Matt's stream, after I'd given up, I kind of just followed him around, and we went into a little ramen bar together. And at that point, everyone lost, I felt, because like the restaurant owner and the chef and people in the restaurant didn't want to sit near us or look at us because they thought we were assholes recording. But we also wanted to be respectful, so we weren't talking.
Was that an assumption in a way? Was that just a vibe you picked up on?
No, we felt the vibe in the room. Okay, like there was very much so like a level of tension that was there because of the camera. And not only that, but because we were also trying to be respectful in turn, we were quite quiet. We weren't really streaming, you know what I mean? Like we were sort of just sitting there eating our food with the camera pointing at us. And at that point, who's benefiting? Like the restaurant doesn't want us there. The content doesn't look that good, so the viewers don't want to be there. And we're worried about coming. So it's like at that point, it's only really worth making the content if you feel like everyone wins in a situation. So like going back to what I was going to say earlier, I think the reason why I didn't do Japan was because like I didn't go to Japan to stream. I went to Japan because I really wanted to just go to Japan. And I think IRL streaming, like it does have its place in terms of that sort of spontaneous sort of nature of it. But I really think that IRL streaming should be the purpose of the thing. If that makes any sense. So like if I'm going to go out tonight, I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm going to go out with my partner, but I might bring my camera and stream as well. Like I'm going to be like, tonight I'm IRL streaming. And that is why I'm going out tonight, and my partner will come along. Like, it needs to be clear to everyone involved that, like, the content is the point. And you can still have a great time regardless. I just think that if you try to just include a camera over the back of your shoulder whilst acting like it's not even there, then no one wins. Everyone
Spontaneous
loses.
IRLs are the worst IRLs. I've tried to boot up a couple of spontaneous ones, and they never go well. Not for anyone.
No.
It definitely is a planned thing. It's definitely a planned thing. It's saying that, but I think it's a long haul thing. I think IRL streaming is a weird beast. I think you get into it and you think this is unique. Everyone's going to want to be a part of it. But as interesting as it's like starting any type of streaming. You have to build up an audience for that, and all of a sudden, from being at your desk to being outside, it builds a completely different audience. They're almost
the
IRL streaming audience and the people that watch people at a desk audience.
And also, I found that the travel and outdoors audience, for me personally, was, this is going to sound quite controversial, I suppose.
No,
it was
I
not
like
the
it.
audience I wanted in my stream at all.
Right, the IRL scene.
Yeah, like, I think a lot of people came off of the cuffs of people like Anything for Views or Ice Poseidon, where, like, they kind of just expected that they could be cunts in a channel and, like, get away with it, and it'll be accepted and tolerated. And so, like, you'll be, like, doing an IRL stream, and someone comes in and they start, like, blaring. Like, they're either just intentionally trying to troll you, or they're just acting like a cunt. And either way, it's just like, get the fuck out of my channel. Like, I don't want you here. I wouldn't want you here if I was sitting in... So the fact that I'm out in public shouldn't change anything to me.
It's weird, because I feel like I didn't get too much of that. Imagine, I can't remember getting too much of that, but I know there's definitely that vibe. The CX network scares the shit out of me, dude. Ice Poseidon's... That whole... movement of IRL streamer scares the shit out of me. I don't know what it is, but
I might offend some people in chat even still to say this, but I think that anybody that was like defending and like on the side of Ice Poseidon was a fucking idiot.
For what situation? Which moment?
Exactly, which one? There's too many situations to call him a. Yeah. Like, I think a lot of times he was unfairly treated, and, like, he was victimized but a lot of those situations, I think he perfectly placed himself in a situation where he was vulnerable. Yeah, and acted surprised when he was vulnerable.
I agree. I agree in ways. I think because obviously I didn't have to. I noticed that I had a couple of blow ups at people just from 2 weeks of IRL streaming. I don't know if you saw the clips, but there was one moment where I went off at a dude for blowing vape smoke in my face, got really triggered and just went off. I never saw that. And then there was a guy called Juice Guy that I got really pissed off at because he cut in line of me at a juice bar, but obviously I know we called him Suit Juice because he was wearing a suit, all important, and he clearly cut in front of me, and I said, "Hey buddy, chill, I was here first." And he goes, "Oh, okay," and he just kept ordering, and I said, no, like, I was here first. So he got the idea, blah blah blah. But it's funny that I think just being outside every day can lead to more issues like that. You don't realize how people, Suit Juice, but someone knows who Suit Juice is. And I felt like it's interesting. I don't know if it's the camera or just that you're already so animated because you're trying to entertain that when someone comes at you, you're not taken as much by surprise as if you're just walking around in silence. When those people trigger you, you're already like animated, talking. Your brain is going because you're talking in chat. So when someone gets at you, it's almost like you just ready to tell them what's good.
You're ready to go, yeah.
Exactly.
Like, if maybe that's in any other scenario, you might have just let him cut in front, and then you would have gotten your juice, walked away, and thought,
exactly. I probably would have let it slide.
But, yeah, absolutely.
And I wonder if for someone like Ice Poseidon that has thousands of people watching, where he's really G'd up every time he starts a stream, then when something happens, it's just more escalated in his head because there's just a big moment of. It's weird. I always find streaming is something that you come away from, especially the IRL streams, where I'd come away from, and in my mind, this is going to sound weird as shit, I'd almost imagine that as I'd been walking around the city, I had people with me, not just, it's almost like one of those movies where the whole movie, you see this person walking around and they've got people that are with them.
It's like you've got like 30 imaginary friends chilling with you.
And at the movie, they do this big twist reveal where turns out he was just holding a camera the whole time, talking to like people on the internet. They weren't actually there, but in your mind, it's so easy to start. Did you ever find that doing IRLs? Did you do many IRLs by yourself, or were they usually?
Yeah, I mostly did them by myself. In fact, I always found it was not fun to do if I was with other people, because for the same reason I said earlier, like if I was with someone else, I wanted to enjoy that person's company, and I would have felt like I was torn between giving that person the attention against giving the chat attention. So I almost always did it on my own.
100%. It's the same as playing a game on stream and whatnot. It's trying to divide that attention.
Absolutely, 100%. And I found that when I was IRL streaming on my own, I definitely didn't give a fuck about talking in public. I was like, if anything, I would intentionally wear those Apple headphones because like people would think that I was just on a phone call.
On a phone, yeah, exactly. I did that in the early days of IRL streaming, and I just felt like
I definitely got over that. Yeah,
I feel like
it's a great way to sort of learn.
I feel like we're saying like the Apple Pods now, the Samsung, what are they called? The fucking the Galaxy Buds is the new one. Yeah. I think they look. I think the Galaxy Buds look a lot better than the Apple Pods, which look ridiculous in my opinion. Have you seen the Galaxy Buds? They're more like
I've seen them like, but not in someone's ear, so I don't know what they look like in someone's ear.
the white ones look like you either got like maybe cotton balls, so they look a bit, but the black ones kind of just blend in. They're not too weird. But I think with those, I mean, that's more likely that you could use that while IRL streaming, but the problem is that they only last like 6 hours, so I feel like they'd I feel like they haven't reached the level of practicality that you'd want them to. I feel like battery life is super important. So, but I think that's the only way. I feel like with the too many cables, especially when you're walking around, that's why the whole backpack thing, even though it's streamlined for the IRL backpack that people are using, it's still just nuts, they've got like this beastie thick cable coming from the camera to the backpack. And I can just imagine, even though it's meant for ease of use, just that cable and everything. Plus, I always worry that if you took that to the wrong place, someone's going to think you're carrying a bomb somewhere. I'm surprised no one's had that issue.
Not even that. You just like, you're a big target for, hey, rob me. Like,
that is
I'm carrying like $6,000 worth of equipment. Please, just take my things and run.
I have watched streams of people using those backpacks, which are worth thousands of dollars, and they've gone, I need to go to the bathroom. They put it in the corner outside the bathroom and just leave it. Because in a way, you have to think that someone could steal it, but they're probably not going to know how to turn it off because of how intricate the backpack is.
So they'll be recorded, like they'll be documented.
Their faces on it at least, and like there is a camera just facing that. You'd have to be kind of crazy to want to steal something that looks so ominous like that backpack, but also with a camera just sticking out, staring right at. Like, it seems so obvious. Have you seen there's a YouTube video of a guy that he kept getting packages out the front of his house stolen, so he rigged. It was meant to look like, I think, an Amazon Alexa box or something. You know, the Amazon Alexas, you say, hey.
I did see this video. Yes, yeah.
And he packed it full of glitter, I'm pretty sure. So when they opened it in their car or whatnot, it exploded everywhere. And it went, and I bet there was a camera in it as well. And it had a GPS tracker in it. Whole bunch of crazy shit. So these people were like running up to his doorstep, taking the package, getting in the car, driving off, and then going to a discreet location, sitting in the car, opening up, and it just like had this mechanism that blew the shit everywhere.
That's amazing. I love that.
That shit was like amazing, but I know it's not so much. But I think there's traps. If someone had a backpack with a camera sticking out from it, you'd probably want to avoid that shit like the plague. You know what I mean? You probably wouldn't go to steal that.
That's fair enough.
But at the same time,
I think
some people like the challenge.
Yeah.
Some people like the challenge.
Well, you get people like me that just like love having a production quality, you know? So it's like some people are willing to spend the money and carry the weight if it means that your stream looks minimally better than other people's, you know?
I think as well as telling you about Sushi Dragon. Have you watched any Sushi Dragon yet?
Yes, I've watched Sushi Dragon, dude. That's, holy shit, he
is insane. If anyone doesn't know Sushi Dragon, I talked about this on Twitchy's podcast a while back. But he's been on Twitch for a couple of years, but he's only just starting to blow the fuck up. He live edits on stream with a whole bunch of. He has a whole bunch of keypads wirelessly on his arm, and he just live edits. He dances. It's mind blowing the shit he does.
Do you have a scene that you can show the chat, like one of their clips?
I actually don't have anything to cut to that looks good. So I won't. But if you want to check him out, just type Sushi Dragon in Twitch. Don't do it now. Do it after the podcast. And check his shit out because your mind will be blown. That shit, he innovates. He's an innovator, right? It's one of those things where you think that you've seen it all on Twitch or that nothing new can be done. And it's not so much that nothing new can be done. It's sometimes that maybe you just have to build on what's already been done. But the reason I bring him up is he's making an IRL backpack that has like a full computer in it. So he can use...
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so he can use OBS through it. But he wants to do like his live editing and scenes and whatnot on the fly. So it's got fans all built into it. It's got all like...
Bloody hell.
It's mind-blowing. I think I can't even keep my computer quiet and from overheating almost in my room.
Yeah.
And he's trying to fit into a backpack and walk around. So it's almost like when you speak of quality and even meshing that into IRL streams, it's just the level that people are going to. It's almost like you wonder if the level of quality of streams will ever get to a point where people won't be able to come in and just do it as an amateur or a hobbyist. Do you think that will ever happen with streaming? Do you think streaming will ever get to a point where it'll be so mainstream that only people that have money can really get into it because they have to be at the I'm talking years and years down the track. I mean, where do you think streaming is going to go? Do you have any thoughts on it? Do you ever think like streaming will die off? It won't be as popular eventually because everyone gets over it. Like what's your vibe on it?
It's a great question. I think streaming is really accessible now. I think that, you know, and not like off of the Twitch app on your phone, you can stream directly from that.
Yeah.
You can stream on Instagram TV. You can, you know, there's Facebook that you can stream live from. There's like all these different platforms that are anybody and everybody to be able to do it.
Do you think it's a fad? Do you think streaming is a fad in a way? Or do you think it would fizzle out in ways? I think the Instagram streaming has definitely not blown up as much as I think they hoped. I haven't seen too many people doing it. And even when I tried to do it when it first started, it just didn't have enough to grip me. They even put a time limit on it. They cut you off after like
they did
an hour or something, which felt kind of redundant because by the time you're building up a bit of a hype train, they cut you off. I'm like, what the fuck? So yeah,
I think it's still, I don't think it's early days for Twitch, but I think it's early days for like streaming being a type of content that people engage in. Yeah. Like people still don't even understand that like when it comes to Twitch, there can be streams that aren't video game related, you know? Like I think that there's a long way to go and a lot of amazing people that haven't even started streaming yet, you know? Like there are going to be people definitely in the future that you know, they are going to kill it and they haven't even considered streaming yet. I think it'll go the same route as YouTube, where you started as being, you know, it was quite hard to be a YouTuber because the content necessary for it, you know, like the editing software, the cameras, all that kind of stuff, that was pretty inaccessible for most people. Yeah. But then as it became more accessible, the bar was raised, you know, like the expected level of quality got higher. Like, you know, back in the day, a 240p standard definition YouTube video would be like, that wasn't even edited, would be like the best video on YouTube that week.
100%.
And now you can create something that is literally cinema grade level, and it will get 2 views. Like that can actually happen.
And that's something I want to get at, is that almost I'm finding that sometimes overproduced content is getting less attention than the most amateur looking content. And that's kind of bringing it full circle as well with talking about, does it matter having such a intricate set behind you or just having a bunch of trash behind? Only because I'm noticing you know, like you said, on YouTube, when someone does a full cinematic film, it can maybe get 100 views, but then someone put up literally a 10-minute video of them just rambling, and that gets 1 million views. But I even noticed today there was a bigger streamer, and she's venturing out into doing like almost an actual production show. I don't know. It was very hard for me to grasp. Even maybe that was part of the issue, because I couldn't really, from even reading the previous tweets before the announcement and after the announcement, then going on her stream, and it was live, and I was still trying to figure out what it was, and people in her chat were even asking kind of what it was. But from what I can gather, she's actually at a studio, and she's inviting other streamer guests on. I think she might do a sit down around on a couch and talk. But I came in and they were all playing Fortnite, and they were all in 4 boxes on the side, all playing Fortnite. I just felt like they were playing Fortnite. She had like 1,500 viewers. No one was chatting. I think I was watching while I was you know, just using the restroom, and I sat there. I was probably watching for about 15 minutes, and there was maybe like 5 genuine lines of text on the screen of people saying stuff. I thought, yeah, because is this the content that people want? So I do wonder if people trying to step up their production overall really matter, or
do they make themselves seem less relatable?
Exactly, which is that's exactly the best way to put it. Is there
so it's funny because like I have this intro for my stream where you know, it's not like the stream is now starting. It says like the TwitchyCoffee show. Yeah. And the reason why is because like when I had come back to streaming, I had this idea that I wanted to do something, I guess it's kind of similar. I didn't want to just have like a sit down, talk to the camera until I get bored and then log off. I actually wanted to create a segmented show. So like I would go live at a certain time every single day. I would, you know, for the first half hour, I would do like my Hey Howdy Hays, and then next half hour we play games. Next half hour we, you know, do like a movie review, like things like that, where it's very structured. People know exactly what is happening, when it's happening, how it goes. And I really thought that would be something that was quite innovative. because like I think that a lot of content on Twitch, it doesn't have any structure in any capacity. It's very much so just a person talking to a camera. And I wanted to see if there was a demand for that. I wanted to see to be interested in watching like a stream, but it was essentially like a show, you know.
Yep. Which
and
I've had the idea of as well. And yeah, continue.
Yeah, right. It's very hard to do in practice because you often find that you don't want to do the thing that you're supposed to do next. Like I would have like, okay, next is game time, but I don't want to play any games.
There's a lot of spontaneity when it comes to streaming, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I think when it
agree.
comes to that spontaneity, it's crucial. I think that you need to be able to read the room, like see what the chat wants, feel what you want to do, find an in between, and then run with that.
Yeah.
And like if you have structured content, such as like, for example, there's like a book review next, chat doesn't give a fuck. I don't want to talk about it, and like the stream will suffer for it.
It's funny because I do feel like there's a level of not giving a fuck when it comes to doing content pieces. I wanted to do like a news section, right? I wanted to do like this whole like talk about the daily Twitch news and gaming news and tech news. But whenever I tried to like test the waters by bringing up a little bit of news and talking on it, chat just went quiet. No one cared because it seems like when it comes down to it, the conversation of just being relatable and just being there every day and talking seems to be what people mainly. I mean, it definitely would be what you nurture, I think, from the get-go. And I guess if you do want to switch up something like that, you'd have to start in way from the start.
Well, I find even personally, if I go live and I'm just chatting for the whole time, I'll have my average expected viewership, which is always great.
Yeah.
If I do anything different, if I have a different segment, or even if I just play a game, no matter what game it is, it could be any game in the world. If I am not doing something that is just chatting, viewership is literally half.
Yeah.
And it goes to show that like when people find you, they love the content you are doing in that moment, and they are going to be very, very skeptical to something different. Give me just a quick second. My door just opened itself.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, sugar. Oh, Twitchy might be about to get robbed. Hopefully not. Thanks for everyone.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. I was just going to say thanks to everyone that's been sticking around and listening. I know we've gone like way longer than I said. I'll probably wrap it in a minute, not to hold you up, because Twitchy does have a stream to do after, which I hope everyone tunes in for and goes watch his stream, because I'll be wrapping up probably just when you start your stream, which is good. So I'll have to send them all over.
So let me know. So I've got a question for you.
Yeah, ask away, dude.
It's been a little bit about me.
No,
so how is like? Can you give me some more info on how this podcast is going to work? So essentially, you go live. Not at 5 o'clock. You go live earlier.
Yeah.
So you're going to stream for a while every day, and then at some point throughout the stream, you're going to cut to a podcast. Do the podcast, end the podcast, and then continue streaming yourself.
Yeah. So that's the goal. So the plan is to do about 2 hours of IRL at the start, 3 to 5. That's the plan. A little bit nerve wracking in that, only because if the chat quiets down during 2 hours of IRL, which it doesn't always, some days are different. I can usually squeeze an hour pretty confidently of people non-stop talking, but 2 hours is ambitious. But I feel like I don't want to ever sacrifice the hardcore chat interaction that I've always had, because I know that I'm going to be neglecting. I mean, I've got chat in front of me. I haven't been ignoring it. I've been reading.
Yeah, I've been reading chat as well, and I feel bad. You know, that's something that I struggle with.
I think it's the biggest.
I
think it's the biggest compliment that people are still talking throughout, and I think it's great because as well this will go up on YouTube and whatnot, and having the chat.
Oh, will it?
Yeah. I'll be putting them up every day on YouTube as their own segment. So the fact that the chat is there, you guys have a part in this as well with just putting your input into it. It's you guys talking amongst yourselves and even just writing in chat. It doesn't. I'll probably even watch these back at times if I really enjoy them. Like I'll probably watch this one back because it's my first one. I can't not. But as I will watch it back, I'll read chat and whatnot, and I'll love to see what people were saying as we chatted and get other input.
Well, I can tell you now, you've had about 20 people come in that say that I look like Elon Musk.
I have read that a little bit. Have you ever had that? I was going to ask you.
I have got it occasionally, but today I have never had it this much. Like
really?
I've maybe heard it a handful of times in the past, but I've got it a lot today.
I've never heard. I never thought that you look like Elon Musk, but now they've said it. Oh, goddamn. I almost cut out.
Is it that bad? I actually don't think I look like him that much, but I'm going to pull up a photo of him now.
Do you know what it is, bro? Don't change it. Yeah, bro, if you block your bottom half of your face, like, not that your bottom half doesn't look, but the top half, oh my God. Okay, that should be the thumbnail, and also I talk to Elon Musk, because, bro, you look like Elon Musk when you cover the lot. It's crazy. Oh my God. Yeah,
I did pull up a photo.
Bro, I saw a few people come in and say, I'm like, I got to ask him about that, and I was actually going to forget probably. So
oh, fuck. He's not a good looking dude, is he? I mean, he's rich and that's awesome, but like...
Tesla, baby.
Oh, brother.
Bro, I've had people say I look like, what's Charlie Day. Do you know Charlie Day, the actor?
The name rings a bell.
Charlie Day, look him up. People say I look like Charlie Day, and I'm like, fuck, no.
I don't say that.
He looks wonky as fuck.
I don't see that at all, man.
I think
feel like
funny,
he has a big ass forehead.
I have a big ass forehead too. That's the hair's down a little bit.
I don't know, man.
It's more flattering. I've got
tell you what, if I find a doppelganger, I'll send you away.
All right, good.
But yeah.
Do you remember the days when I don't know what platform? Maybe it was Facebook. I don't have Facebook anymore, but remember when people did the doppelganger days, where like it seemed like once a year, all of a sudden everyone changed their profile picture to a celebrity that they thought they looked like. Do you remember that? I feel like
that was like early Facebook.
That was a long time ago.
Early Facebook, yeah.
And I feel like everyone always had an amazing doppelganger that they look like. I had no one. I could never think of who I look like. Did you ever have someone you felt like you look like? If like, obviously now Elon Musk is kind of like...
I suppose he's what I'm going to rock with.
It's crazy. I mean, I'm seeing it now.
Oh, you know what? I actually had... It's funny because people said I look like this person all the time, but I don't think it was meant to be a compliment.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Do you know that kid in Cat in the Hat?
Cat in the Hat? The newest kind of rendition of it? Or
no, like the
book?
Hold on, let me see if... the old movie. The 2003 movie. I'm gonna find the actor's name. I'm gonna get you to Google the actor's name.
Okay, I'm even just looking up 2003. Is he wearing an orange shirt for a lot of it?
Spencer Breslin is his name. So I'll even just message it to you in the Discord call.
Yeah,
but
do it.
I got told I look like this kid, like at least once a week in school, at least.
Once a week, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look.
Like people called me Conrad, like in primary school and high school.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Nah, dude, I got it a lot. I got it a fuckload. I think
That's a stretch. He's got a very his head is really like all...
Well, I think it helps that I've lost a bit of weight. So maybe like I think if I had a bit more weight in my cheeks again, that it might look a bit more like it. Also, if I had like my hair back, I'd say I couldn't even deny that. I was like, you're right.
Really?
Kid. Yeah, for sure.
Child actors, man. Is this one of those kids that didn't really go on to do much else? Do you know? Because
let's have a look. I've got his IMDb up right now.
You know the actor from Star Wars Episode 1, the kid that played Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
Have you looked at recent stuff of where he's at now?
No.
There was a video, and it was like a while ago too. There was a video that was out. I'm sure if you look it up, like I don't even know how you'd find it, but it'd be there somewhere on YouTube. But there's a video of him much older, like probably early 20s, and he's doing an interview. He's at like a convention or something, but he just looks like an average dude. I hate to say it, he didn't age. You know, he's kind of a cute kid in the movie, like, oh, look at little Anakin, ruffle his hair up, you know what I mean? But he kind of didn't age very well. And
I'll look it up now. So Anakin Skywalker.
It'll be hard. I don't know what his name was, but it sounds like after he did Episode 1, he had a rough life, dude, and he hates the world. Like, if you
Hayden Christensen?
No, the one before that. That's like the Anakin that was in the other ones. I'm not a big Star Wars buff. He's like the real little kid. You know, Episode 1 with the bowl cut? And,
yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's an interview floating around from like a couple of years back, and he just wants to see the world burn, man. I think he went to school or college after that, and man, there's a video and he just
His name's Jake Matthew Lloyd. He
Yes.
does not look like a happy chappy.
Yes, no, and I just think, man, child actors, it's a rough gig, man. I can't even imagine how that happens because they don't really, I guess, get the choice. They might think they've got the choice when it starts, but
Check out that link I just sent you. It'll give you a good idea.
yeah, that's right. No, he looks yeah, he in that photo he kind of looks kind of cool because I think he went to jail or something.
Yeah, he looks like the kind of guy that I would expect that goes to jail.
Yeah, it was before that. Before the Mo really helped him with his style.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's I wonder. It's kind of a funny thing. Like child actors, do you think, in the way of streaming, I know there's an age limit to streaming, but do you think in a way there's going to be some sort of, if kids blow up on Twitch, let's say even if they're just teenagers, do you think there's some sort of
Negative effect?
Yeah, and version of having peaked early in that. Do you reckon there's going to be like a negative effect on them because of peaking on Twitch? In a way, kind of like child actors, but I know that's completely different. But I don't know. It's something that a lot of people don't think about. And the thing is, because streaming's so new, we don't know.
I guess
the effects.
I can only really speak from my sort of personal experience, and like I wasn't a kid when I started streaming, and when I started to get sort of like really heavily invested into streaming.
Yeah.
But I also at the same time definitely didn't know who I was, and I definitely didn't have my shit together.
Yeah.
And I think when you try to throw something like streaming into the mix, especially when you start to get a bit of traction and people are coming in and like you feel validated for being a shitty person, or you don't quite know who you are yet, but you sort of like you think that you might be better than what you actually are because you haven't.
Yeah.
I think it's incredibly important to be very secure and comfortable with who you are as a person before you even consider doing something like streaming, because it's like streaming can definitely mold a person. I think it can change you. Like I think beliefs and skills and opinions from streaming, that I think it's really important to come from somewhere first rather than let this be sort of where you sort of develop your ideas about where you are in the world.
I think the internet forming a human in a way, which is what we're going to see a lot of, because I mean, for me being 32, I grew up for a long time without any internet, and even when the internet first came out, it wasn't enough for me to really get much out of, you know what I mean?
Well, like I suppose I'm quite young, but let's say I was still around, like I was old enough to have a MySpace, and like it was pretty good at the time then.
Yeah.
So like I would say that I was kind of there for the absolute beginning of social media. Like internet had existed before my time, but like in terms of social networking and how we interact and engage with one another was kind of as becoming a thing as I was growing up. And I think that it definitely changed the way I grew up. And I think anyone that came after me is going to find the same thing too, not more 100%.
So. I think we're going to see a real difference in just the way the world... I mean, we already have seen it. I mean, so many people have a voice now that back when I was a kid, people just didn't... The people that had a voice were in your local community. And now it's really... But it's maybe in some ways it's great. It's made a lot of good changes to the world. In other ways, it's made a lot of... It's not made so many changes, but giving people a voice that maybe they get their way and then start screaming about other things, and freaks me out.
Myself and Metal Maniac Matt, we've had a couple of drinks in the past, and we've kind of had a very similar discussion about this, and we've kind of both arrived at the sentiment where we both believe that the internet evolved too quick for us to know what to do with it. Like we as humans, like biologically, physiologically, psychologically, at every level, we weren't prepared for something like the internet. We weren't prepared to be like easily accessible 24/7 and be able to interact and engage with anybody around the world at any time. Like we couldn't have fathomed that within our own selves. And now that it's the norm, we have to literally change the way that our brains work just to try to wrap our heads around how this shit works, you know? It's it's crazy.
The scary thing is that now they're talking about robots that are learning. You know what I mean? They're starting to they're starting to have some form of conscience and
sentient thought. It's
scary. And you know, even Elon Musk, not to bring him up again, but he's saying essentially that we should be worried, because essentially the internet is limitless on knowledge, and if if a robot can essentially learn everything there is on it in an instant, I mean, what's stopping them? Consciousness, thank you. Yeah, I feel like, in my mind, the internet, I think it's just going to get worse. I think technology is terrifying. I don't know. I think it's great where it is now, but I think there's a lot we should be worried about. Even 5G. You know how they're bringing out 5G?
Yeah. I don't want to seem like I'm kind of like the sky is falling,
no,
but like it's hard to sort of like look around you and go, yeah, everything's fine. Like because it's not quite.
I only looked into 5G recently because I think, and you know, all of it is you wonder if people are just tinfoil hats or if they're actually complaining about something that's real. But I looked into 5G.
Not even just that, man. Like I think about like the division between like everyone politically, like everything's politicized. You know, like that's
I think
kind
it's
of
heightened since the internet.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that like the stock market is overinflated, the property market is overinflated. I think that like politically we're incredibly divided. I think that the internet is sort of like we're coming into what I would almost say is a new wave. Like we had the internet and then we had social media, and like social media changed what the internet was. And I feel as though we're kind of on the cusp of something just as big as of a change, you know. And I kind of feel like we're not far off of seeing something.
We're due for something.
Happen.
Yeah, we're definitely due.
Absolutely.
I think I mean, people are out there working every day to make something. They're trying to push the boundaries of what's possible, and I think there's some things that are going to be amazing, you know, advancements. But I think there's definitely things that the whole thing. The reason I bring 5G up is I think it's just that they're pushing that to the point where it's detrimental to people's health. From what I can hear, there's all.
Can you give me some context? Because I actually I know 5G is coming, but I don't know.
They're saying 5G essentially will be carcinogenic, which I believe can cause cancer. Now, look, I'm not like a scientist, but people. There's a lot of people, and people of note saying that that they've got to stop and not bring this out. But of course, companies all want the fastest speeds, and so the average consumer that doesn't read into all this stuff, that they're going to be releasing this, and people are going to go, yeah, I love faster internet speeds, but at what cost? They're saying they tested these on rats, I'm pretty sure, and the rats all died. You know what I mean? Being subject to 5G waves and whatnot. So I don't know. There's some scary shit. The dark side of YouTube is just, you can look at it as, oh yeah, it's just some kid that's making tinfoil hat theories, and I agree, but at the same time you go, where do some of these theories come from? And at the same time, if you look at a lot of like Telstra's ads for 5G or even Optus on anything where they're like on a social media platform where they're saying, hey, get ready, 5G's coming, super high speeds, you'll see a lot of people in the comments saying, fuck off, we don't want it, keep that shit out of here. Like a lot of it is negative, like don't bring that into Australia, because people are scared.
Wow.
Yeah, Raw said it literally hasn't been around long enough for proper peer-reviewed scientific studies to be conducted. So I don't know. It's just I feel like that's the problem. They shouldn't be releasing things without that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. From the internet to that, I think look, for me, I'm like 5G would be great if we don't have good NBN. Then 5G could be the answer for us Australians to have that speed. You know what I mean? To stream at crazy quality. And it works well, but I don't know. It's like I guess technology at what cost? And we could say, well, the dark times are upon us, but at the same time, with the internet already the way it is, are they already kind of there? I don't know. Not trying to get too deep on it. But
I don't think the change of the world is going to be like a day or night thing. I think that we are going to see it. Like it's never. I don't even think it's in
already
stages
been gradual.
Necessarily. It started years ago, and it's going to keep going for years to come. And by the time it ends, another one will have already started.
But the scary thing is, I mean, you don't want 5G to be like the asbestos of tech. You know, asbestos, how, you know, they released that as this amazing building material that was resistant to fire and whatnot. And
I just think it's interesting. Yeah, like going into that, like
and then
I think
years
it's really
later, people are getting cancer and stuff. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
like
scary shit.
It's easy to be like to sort of get a sense of security and a sense of comfort when you look at like us as a society now, and you think, okay, we are more intelligent and more advanced and more understanding than before.
Yeah,
that is true. But we are still fucking stupid. Like we are still very dumb.
We don't have
Like-
the intelligence to wield some of this shit. I agree.
No,
And
like
the
I
thing-
think
you're
not
putting
even
in the
that, like,
hands of consumers, just everyday consumers. That's the scary part.
yeah. Like I think about how like do you know much about the Spanish flu?
I don't. No.
So the Spanish flu, it was essentially just like it was a particular strand of the flu, and it was quite unique than every other strand of the flu. So like typical antibiotics and things didn't combat against it.
Yep.
It killed like the third of the population, and this happened just over 100 years ago. Like
Wow.
this happened like at the start of the 20th century. This is not old. Like a third of the population died to a fucking cold, and we couldn't stop it
And it's
in
almost
any
like,
capacity.
and it's almost like, what's stopping that from happening again? We're not that
There is
far
nothing.
ahead.
We
Yeah.
thought we were advanced 100 years ago,
Yeah.
and then a third of us died. Like that is
think-
literally an apocalypse right
I
there.
think
like,
it's going to be interesting, in a way to see when we look back at, when we're old, even older than we are now,
yeah.
to look back, because it's crazy. You always feel like you're in the future. You always feel like you're in the most technological age, but it's going to be interesting to look back on now and feel and see if it felt primitive. See if now
Yeah.
feels primitive. I don't know. It's
Well,
exciting.
I think about
but
before the internet, and that felt primitive.
Exactly.
Like we're going to be those 70-year-old guys that are conservatives and be like, no, men should not marry robots. Ew. Like it's like
I mean,
you know what I mean?
if we can delve into that topic.
That was just an example. Like I think it's.
Guys, call in. Would you fuck a robot? On the line here. We just.
We don't need to call in the line. I'm pretty sure every guy here would fuck a robot. But like, would you
Do you reckon? I mean,
would you marry a robot and commit your life to a robot? And
people are already
and,
marrying the weird. There's someone that married a theme park ride. There's
Yeah, someone
did
married
you see
a
that?
train station.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That was
people.
interesting.
It's kind of wild. People would definitely marry robots, guaranteed. That like. Yeah, let alone fuck them.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee. Who wouldn't?
Oh, but I mean, like, we make fun of those people that marry fucking inanimate objects now. But, like, when, like, you're talking about the consciousness, when that becomes more evolved, and essentially, the consciousness of a robot is indistinguishable from the consciousness of a human.
There's...
Like, despite
yeah.
the fact that it's artificial, doesn't mean that it's any less legitimate. It's,
I mean...
have you played the game Soma? I'll bring it back full circle.
I have a little bit. I haven't played all of it. That was a long time ago, and I was playing on stream, so I didn't really... You know, when you play something on stream, you don't have like that ability to really deeply just absorb it.
You need to play this game. It'll fuck you up.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
I was meaning to go back and really go in on it. So
I mean, on the surface, it's marketed as like a horror game from the people that made Amnesia.
So
yes, that's what
I
it is.
thought it was going to be a horror game, and then it was so slow that I was on stream. I was
It
like,
is
this
a
ain't working. So I
slow
turned it off.
build.
Okay.
Fuck, is it a rewarding ending, man?
Really?
It might be my most favorite ending to any game I've ever played.
Oh
ever.
shit!
It is a
Okay,
fucking
I've
good
got to not look
ending.
at chat in case
Yeah.
it spoils it now.
Yeah,
How have I not
but,
had it spoiled? Wow. Okay.
It's essentially, it kind of discusses what we're talking about now in terms of like the consciousness of a human, and like I'll just explain
wow.
how the game sort of starts. So it's
Yeah.
you know, you'll see like a dead corpse on the ground,
Yeah.
and like it'll have a name tag attached to it that says it's like John Smith, and then like you'll keep just walking, and then like, you know, like 20 minutes down the line, you'll see like a robot is trapped under like a lot of machinery, and it's screaming, blood curdling in pain, like it's as if like a human
I've
was
obviously
screaming in
played
pain.
this like this start a long time ago because I don't remember any of
Yeah,
this. So yeah, I'm
but
gonna
you
have to-
walk up to it and it's like, hey, who are you? And it's like, hi, I'm John Smith. I'm a human. Help me. It's clearly a robot. It looks nothing
Yeah,
like a human.
wow.
And it's like, I'm in so much pain. Please kill me or save me. Something like that. And you have to just kill it. And
You have to.
It
Or
kind of makes you think.
you don't get a choice. Like
I
they
can't
don't
remember.
give
I
you some
think you
sort
can
of.
save it or kill it. I'm not quite certain, but
Okay.
like I think the game sort of pushes you to try to just kill it.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
save it.
yeah.
And it makes you think, well, you could have just walked away. I think that was an option too. You could just not do anything.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
because it is just a robot, and like
But
the
it's begging
things that
you
it
to-
thinks that it's feeling, it doesn't actually feel them. It's just been programmed to think it, right? But
Yeah.
maybe not. Maybe it actually does have the consciousness of that human.
Shit,
from
and it gets to
earlier.
that point that
Yeah. At what point do you say, nah, he's just a robot? Like,
Yeah,
it really
when-
challenges your concept of what consciousness is and who deserves it and who has it. Like,
and it's
fucking
going to
crazy.
and that's how it's going to be though. I mean it's going to get to that point, guaranteed. There's no ifs or buts that there's going to be a point where robots have that kind of vibe about them that it's like, well, how do we treat these now? How do we treat our computer? Does it actually have feelings? If I like, I don't know. So it's just turn it off. Shell says, just turn it off.
I love that. A games where doing nothing is doing something. Yeah, like you're given like a very active choice of like you can choose to not get involved in any capacity, but does that mean that you're complacent in the torture of a consciousness? Like, it's fucked up.
And that's
it's
the
so
question
fucked
of
up.
what is a consciousness. And I mean, I think as soon as something's aware of itself, I think that's when everything changes. But have you seen?
I am Elon Musk. Look at me rant about this shit. I'm
bro.
fucked.
I reckon we've got undercover Elon Musk on the stream. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But yeah, one more thing on it. I mean, have you seen the robot Sophia? Have you heard? She's like, I think she's like the most advanced robot so far. If anyone had looked up the robot Sophia, I don't know, there's been some memes, right? Like she'll be on a couch being interviewed on a stage in front of a live audience.
I see that right now, yeah.
And she'll answer questions. They'll ask her questions. She answers back as if she still sounds robotic in a way, but she answers back as if she's a human in some ways. But she actually, I don't know if they programmed this for a joke. I'm sure they did, but it's not helping their case. But they at one point, she said she wants to like eradicate all humans, or she wants all humans to die or something during an interview. And I'm sure that, but why would they, I don't know, man. It's some crazy shit. And
that's where we're at with AR right now. Like, we can essentially make these robots that look like humans, walk like humans, talk like humans. But the key difference, and the thing that will really like fuck me up, and like the thing that will really like I think change the concept of what it is to be human and what it is to be conscious. It's every response that robot ever said, it had been pre-programmed to say that in some capacity. Like if it had heard certain words in a certain string, then bam, spit this response out. Like there is no such thing as an original thought in the robot. Everything was pre-calculated. So
I mean, what if
the thing that will change the AI is when you don't have to program it to respond to certain situations. You teach it how to make its own responses.
I think that's the whole idea of these robots. I think that's the idea of Sophia, is that she learns just by existing. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure the whole idea is that she's supposed to be ever learning. But that's the scary thing. You'd hate for them to somehow be able to dip into the internet and somehow just have the knowledge of the internet, essentially the
which
world.
Is everything, by the way. Like that's
and the control of that all in one connected human-like being, but isn't like it's a lot of power for someone to wield. And goodbye human race is what I'm saying. All right, tinfoil hat.
I'm seeing here that how much is so I'm trying to see how big the internet is. So it says here estimates that are as big 1,200 petabytes. And that is 1.2 million terabytes.
Jesus. I mean, in a way, I almost how many petabytes?
That is 1,200.
Oh, 1,200. Okay, yeah, that is a lot. I mean, and it's only going to keep growing. That's a crazy thing. The internet still blows
and it grows exponentially too. Like it kind of grows. Like
grows
the more it grows, the faster it grows. Yeah,
exactly. So, I mean, us doing this stream right now is growing the internet by like another probably close to a gig or something. You know what I mean?
And it's so funny because you think about the real fake stuff, where it's like, depending on how much content of a person exists online, you can essentially create a very realistic. Oh,
you mean the deep fakes? Oh, fuck this, man. Yeah.
So that because you and I, we have a lot of like footage of our faces online.
I'm sure I'm on some porn site fucking someone somewhere.
Yeah, dude.
If anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, the deep fakes, where essentially anyone now can put a face on anyone else, and it will look somewhat. It almost can look real in.
I've seen very, very convincing. To the point where I couldn't tell. Like, I think it depends how much you've got to work with, but it can definitely look fucked up.
It's insane. And that's, that terrifies me, because they could grab anyone. It's like, it gets to a point where, what do you believe? Like, who do you believe and what do you believe that you see? We're already in the day and age where we'll see a photo and instantly, if it looks too amazing, we'll go, that was photoshopped. But we even do that with video now. But back in the day, no one would fucking say that. And even with the dawning of the internet, we see a photo and go, wow, that's cool. But now we're kind of like going, oh, well, someone's definitely manipulated this, and
I
it could
like
be
to
very,
think
it could be
that
real.
People won't be skeptical for too long. I like to think that like there might be a short window where people aren't aware of what deepfakes are, and like they'll have that one experience where they're like, "Oh, that's not real." I think once it comes to the public's knowledge, it won't be that big of a concern. I think it'll be used for like marketing purposes. I think it'll be regulated so that way you can't use it for illicit purposes.
If they're doing that now, I can guarantee you that not too far down the track, people will be able to superimpose a complete render or biped animation of a person that looks almost as real. Like they can make it look exactly like you by using deepfake and whatnot, and put you just in an environment doing things that like they could make you look like you just committed a murder. You know what I mean? I believe that.
Well, have you seen the footage
technology of and it's like, how will we know if then that security footage or even footage that's caught on people's phones are real? It gets to a point where...
Have you seen the footage of Barack Obama being like, "Fuck Donald Trump"? Like,
no.
And it's just like a deepfake. And I think that was kind of like, that was a video that brought deepfake to a lot of people's attention because it was like, holy fuck, go Obama. But then they're like, oh no.
It's not real. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's the world is... And we have to second guess everything now because of all this stuff. And it's a shame. I wish we didn't have to think so hard, but it keeps everyone on their toes. It's not as simple as it was.
If I had to summarize the way I feel about all of this, I would say that like I have a level of faith in the system where like things might go bad, things might get worse, but I don't think things are going to fall apart. I think that we face challenges and then we circumvent or overcome.
There's always a balance.
Absolutely.
It balances out. Yeah, otherwise we would have imploded on ourselves a long time ago. That's for
sure. We just have had that many hurdles. Like people thought that the internet was going to be the end of the world. People thought that like Facebook was going to be the end of the world. And sure, in a certain sense, it was. But like it I don't know. Like we always find ways to adapt, evolve, overcome. You know, Bear Grylls, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So 100%.
So, yeah.
Actually, Kitty said this is the new Shane Dawson conspiracy video. Did you see the pizza thing that he was doing as well, where he made this whole conspiracy and then people started going crazy? The Chuck E. Cheese in America was serving
I
up
heard
pizzas.
that Chuck E. Cheese were very upset with him.
Yeah,
that's all I heard. I didn't actually watch the video though.
There was this whole conspiracy that essentially Shane Dawson got a pizza at Chuck E. Cheese with a bunch of friends, and one of the slices, some of the slices on the crust didn't match up with the full circle of the pie. So they were saying that essentially the conspiracy was that they were getting pizza that was left over on tables that people didn't eat and then putting it back in the box and then serving it up again because the pieces didn't match with what a pizza would, you know what I mean? So then people started...
I might be very unpopular in saying this right now, but I feel like a lot of Shane Dawson's videos are superimposed. I feel like a lot of them are bullshit.
Oh, I'm sure they're all... well, not all, but I'm sure a lot of them are very fake. I didn't actually never saw the Shane Dawson one. I actually saw a different video of a guy that actually went to get a job at Chuck E. Cheese. Turned out, though, that he faked the whole thing.
I just think if Chuck E. Cheese is a massive franchise and there's that many people that work there, how the fuck could they keep that under wraps?
No way.
I worked at Nando's. Yeah. I worked there for 2 months before I was like, fuck this place is disgusting. And it's either like everyone knows and doesn't care or the thing doesn't exist.
No one's not going to blow the lid off it, especially when they can get Shane Dawson clout the minute that if they work there, they'd be like, this is more worth it than my job. I'm going to go to Shane Dawson.
And if you start to sort of have the idea that it's kind of like, no, like they're all kept under wraps. It's like you're reaching too much to try to confirm your bias. You know what I mean? Like rather than being open to the reality that this conspiracy isn't real in the first place. Yeah. You know, and you could use that same reasoning for flat earthers or anything like that, you know? It's like you've got to really sort of reach to find,
the flat earth thing blows my mind to this
Did you
point.
watch the fucking
Logan Paul?
I didn't watch it. I want to watch it.
I want to watch it. I haven't watched it yet, but I haven't watched it because I just don't know. I think it's not meant to be. I think it's meant to be satirical. I don't think because it looks very much like he's gone full into it, which is.
Oh, yeah, I think he just made a video about it. I don't think he actually believes it.
Oh, okay. Because at first glance, you're kind of like, does he believe this shit? This is kind of weird. I wouldn't be surprised he's going on the rails. But yeah, I do want to watch that. But yeah, man, the flat earthers blow my mind. That shit just I don't know. That's a conspiracy for another day. That's a conspiracy for another day.
100%.
I want to
Maybe for the
ask.
next time I'm on the podcast.
You'll be on again, dude. You'll be on again, don't it?
Fuck yeah, let's go.
One podcast every day. I'm gonna have a couple of returning people, and you're gonna be
100%.
the first one back. I want to ask a couple of quick questions that I got people to send in.
Okay, let's go.
I'm nervous because I think I've fucked up. I've put it under my Discord server, but I just realized I'm talking to you. Is there a way to where...
You can still go to your server and have a look at the messages in there without... Like, I'll still get your feed. I don't know if it'll fuck up your stream, but...
It'll fuck up the stream a little bit. Is there a way to pop the... There should be a way to pop out the video, I reckon. That's what Discord needs to work on, I reckon. Popping out the video. You know what? On my phone. Easy clap.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. We figured it out.
You little genius. That's awesome.
Oh, my brain was ticking. My brain was ticking.
Oh, that's amazing.
Let me ask a couple. Ooh, what do we got here?
Hit me with them.
I don't know how many we've got. I meant to promote it, the asking questions in the Discord at the start of the stream, at the start of the podcast, but I did it before the podcast, so there might not be many since the thing.
That's okay.
There's a couple. We'll see what we got. Mustafa says, how much coffee do you drink? Or do you
not
drink
that much
any?
anymore.
Okay. Because I was
I love coffee still, but I'm doing a diet at the moment where I can't have milk. And I've been trying to teach myself to drink coffee as just black, but it's not fun and I don't like it. So
coffee black means no milk?
Yeah, so black coffee is basically, it's no milk. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Well, a long black, yeah.
That must be quite a bitter
She's a bitter
beverage.
boy. She's a very bitter boy.
I've tried coffee a couple of times. You'll always be my favorite coffee. I'll tell you that much because I don't like coffee that much.
Look, I'll tell you what, I'm okay with being your favorite coffee. You know? I'll take that as a compliment.
Mate, I'm glad. So a couple of these we kind of already... Oh, yeah. Little Rog says, what's your favorite high-end streamers that you watch at the moment? And if so, who are they? Even just what streamers are you watching now? Anyone you could recommend?
In terms of high-end streamers, I really don't watch that many anymore. Like I've put in a lot of hours watching Lyric, Summit 1G, Tim the Tatman. But that was quite a while ago. I really don't watch that many streams anymore, which is a crime to be honest.
No. It's hard to find time sometimes to dip into.
Absolutely. I'd say when I watch larger streamers, I kind of don't watch anybody that's over 1,000 viewers anymore. I would say that I watch people that are probably in like the mid thousands, you know, or like high hundreds.
Yeah.
That's probably as far as I'll take it. And that's like, I get people like, oh, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, are you a big chatter in streams, or do you like to sit back and learn? I know the other day we had a weird coinkydink where I saw you in someone's stream and then I went into, I think, Dingo Money's stream.
Yeah.
And you were in there as well. I'm like, what the fuck? And you were chatting away.
Following each other, mate.
I know. I was like, who's stalking who here? Granted, you were chatting first in both streams both times. So I was like, shit, okay, well, I guess I'm stalking you. But do you find you lurk much? Or do you find when you're in a stream you feel like you want to talk? Like, what's going on?
That's a really great question, actually, because I don't know how I feel about it entirely.
So I know I'm a big lurker.
I would love to lurk in every stream I go to.
Yeah.
But when I tend to only watch my friends, and when I watch my friends, I feel an obligation to chat. Because I know when you chat in someone's stream, you are supporting them, you're sort of increasing
100%.
Chat flow. Like, it's a very cool thing to do for people. So, like, if any viewers wondering how they can support a streamer without, you know, throwing money at them, like, just chatting is such a big fucking deal. It makes a huge difference. So I really try to do that for a lot of the smaller streamers. But honestly, if it's a stream that I've never watched before, or if it's like a stream that has like over 100 viewers, I wish I could be more of an active community member, but I can't find myself to do it.
Do you ever feel nervous about talking in a slightly bigger stream or any stream? Like when you first go in, do you ever feel
no, like the smaller the viewership is, the more anxious I am to talk.
Really? The smaller?
Yeah, the smaller. Yeah. So if there's like a streamer with 2 viewers, I'm terrified of talking. Because it's like, if I say, hey, how are you? That streamer is going to be very dependent on me. And like, I essentially feel bad if I leave. I can't leave.
Yeah, I've never... Yeah. I get what you're saying. There is that kind of point where they a lot of the time, a smaller streamer will really like keep jumping in quickly asking you a question because they're really trying to make sure that they're not doing it to be an asshole and keep you there, but they're doing it so that they make you feel welcome and that they care about you, because they're really fighting for that follow or for that continuous viewership.
I think sometimes like I'm very disinterested when it's obvious that they're fighting for my attention.
Yeah.
Like, because this is gonna sound really bad. Like,
no. I think I already.
It's almost a bit sad. It's like I think you should. I know it's hard and it's easier said than done, but I think it's really important to learn to be comfortable to stream to yourself.
Yeah.
And so that way, if that one person does leave, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Yeah. And it's so funny because it's counterintuitive. If you have this attitude where you love everyone that comes in, but you don't need them to be there for you to have a good time, then you're having such a great time that the viewers can tell.
Yeah.
And because of that, they'll want to stay. They won't feel like they have to stay. They'll actually just want to be there.
Man, I just think that at the same time, the grind of, and I say grind for this portion of, Max comes in. Oh, man. Hey, Max, how you doing? I think at the level we're at, we know that someone's going to be in our stream no matter what. I think. Yeah,
and like, I think that's very fucking amazing.
And I think at that point, there's no real people that say like I'm on the grind. I don't have any problem with it. I know some people go, oh, saying you're grinding when you're streaming, that shouldn't be a grind, and they get all like high and mighty. I think there's no problem with saying you're on a grind, but I think at the same time, it becomes a lot easier just to get in and just enjoy it. I think the real grind is when you first start and you just don't have anyone, and it'd be very hard. It's easy for us because we now know that people will come. But for someone that's just starting out, they don't know that. They don't know when the next chance they'll get. It could be in another week, another month, before someone gives them a chance. So that's why they latch on so hard. And it is, I think at that same time, you kind of have to go, you know what? A follow costs me nothing. They might not be the best streamer. I follow. I know you do, but that's the point. I'm kind of like, I feel like I should just sling a follow. And because that will make I remember for me, even seeing the view count go up by 1 back when I started was like, wow, someone actually came to my stream at one point. That's all it took.
It's so funny that I saved my first ever VOD because I was just incredibly lucky. My first ever stream in my title. And I didn't realize that is the best clickbait tab in the world. Like, I would seriously have that as my title every day for now. Like, I would.
I've seen people that do it still when it's not their first stream.
Yeah, I would love to do it.
And it does seem like their view count seems a little bit more than maybe usual. It's a bit of a... Like, when it's your first stream, though, I've noticed that is a thing,
It's because I had that as my title for my first ever stream. I had 10 concurrent views. And, like, for my first ever stream, it was unfucking believable. I couldn't fathom the fact that 10 people had come in there just to watch me
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was nuts. But then the next stream, I didn't have it in my title. I had 0 viewers. 0. And I was like, shit.
Do you remember what you were playing or what you were doing for most of the stream?
Yeah, so my first stream, I was playing Fallout 3.
That's right. You said, that's right. You did say that.
Yeah. And that was a game that I got gifted to me by a mate. And so, like, because I didn't even have a job at the time, I had, like, no money.
Yeah,
right.
Like,
it was crazy. And then, like, I had a mate of mine, he gifted me a copy of Resident Evil 2.
Oh, okay.
No, 4. Nice. Resident Evil 4.
Oh, 4, okay.
And that just became my stream game. I played that non-stop for like a year. And like, I made a huge community in that game.
Oh, wow. You streamed it for a year, you reckon? Like you...
Yeah, I reckon, yeah.
Wow, is there that much content in... I haven't actually... I started playing that game. I couldn't get past the controls. I don't know what was going on.
The controls are very fucky. Like, once you get used to them, you're good.
I got like...
I use a controller. I don't know if that helps you.
No, I did as well. I think I did. No, I did. Oh, God, maybe I didn't have a controller. Maybe I was using PC controllers at the start.
Yeah. No, I bought an Xbox controller off my mate that would plug into USB, and like I played with that, and that makes it so much easier.
I've got my Xbox controller now. I wouldn't... Some of these games, I think, why would have I ever... Like, I bought that for Forza, because like, as if you're going to play a racing game with a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, right.
It comes in so much handy. I pretty much play over 50% of my games on Steam are with a controller, you know what I mean? It's definitely a worthwhile investment. But that's crazy. It's almost a good tip to for anyone that's thinking about streaming to put that in their title. And there you go. That's a little bit of an extra push. I'll quickly blast through a couple more and I'll let you go, dude, because I know you're streaming and we'll call it.
No, that's all good, man.
Oh, okay. I wanted to say this one as well. And I think... Mustafa said, how many Matties do you know? Which we know is quite a few.
Too many.
Too many.
Look, I really only speak, like, in terms of, like, on a daily basis. You know, like, everyone else that's come onto my podcast, like I would say that like I do speak to you from time to time, like especially like I'll engage on, but like in terms of like who I speak to on daily, yeah, it's just my boy, MattyAP Matt.
MattyAP Matt, that's the one. Yeah. He's a lucky man. Shell Bro says worst stream moments or most embarrassing stream moments.
Oh fuck! I will write you a motherfucking list.
Oh,
let's go.
Really? Ooh,
holy shit!
baby.
I've got some bad moments. I've got some really bad moments.
I'm willing to listen if you want to talk about any of them.
Oh look, some are funny and some are literally just like, oh Twitchy, you fucking mess.
Oh god.
In terms of like a bad one, like a really bad one, I once just got like unimaginably drunk one night, and I was just thinking to myself, fuck, it's a great idea to stream right now. And this was about 3 months into my stream break. Okay. So people were still like waiting for the next stream, and like everyone got a notification on their phone saying, oh, TwitchyCoffee's live, and I was like, oh my god, he's back. And they tune in at 1 a.m. and it's just me fucked off my tits. Like I was just like saying, I was like talking about like my girlfriend at the time, like I was talking about, I should not have been live.
Wait, so audio cut out just that little bit? What were you?
Oh,
what were you saying?
I was just talking about things I shouldn't have been talking about live. Talking about like my partner and my job and my family and
god,
like things like that. And I was like, and like they were probably watching, you know.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm sure they jumped in for it, and that's the sort of thing that people won't leave anytime soon if they know that something interesting's going on.
Yeah, and I had one of my mates, Lara, jump in, and she was a mod for my. And she almost never gets involved. She was kind of just there, just sort of keep an eye on things. Yeah. That was the only time in my life that she's ever messaged me and said, you need to stop the stream right now. Yeah. And I was like, even as I was just completely wasted, I was like, wow, this is serious. Okay, I'm going to end the stream.
Alcohol and streaming is terrifying.
It is a very, very, very fucking bad idea.
It's like walking on fire. You really...
It is.
I know a streamer, I won't say his name, but it was a pretty scary moment where I didn't watch it live, but his chat actually came in. He raided me, which is the weirdest thing. His chat came in freaking out, and apparently he had gone drunk on stream. And I watched the VOD back. It's pretty confronting. He was drunk on stream. He had a friend over. They're slightly older. They're probably a bit older than me, and they got into an argument, he and his friend, and his friend shoved him or something. They got up in each other's face, and his friend shoved him. Oh, fuck. And he fell over and he hit his head on his cabinet, on his kitchen table as he went down. And he was just out cold, dude. And he was like, well, he's kind of, no, he was on the ground kind of going, ugh. And I think his mod somehow shut the stream down. I don't know if that's possible or something like that. And then raided me to try and get someone to help. I don't know. It was the weirdest shit.
Fucking hell.
It was crazy. But they were so drunk. And luckily he was okay. I think... he went on like normal, the stream was shut down, but then the next time he came back, it wasn't really a thing. But for all his viewers, it was pretty terrifying because they didn't know if he just
was okay or not.
Die or saying the stream ends. It's crazy shit. I'm sure there's so many things like that have happened on Twitch that you just don't hear about.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's like, alcohol and streaming is such a risky business. I don't know. Some people.
Well, like all of my charity streams, or most of them, I was quite drunk because I had like $50 donations. I'll do a shot sort of thing. And but I think it was a safe. The general vibe of the whole just positive, you know. So like I couldn't. It was less likely to go a negative way. But the times that I was just drunk for no reason and just started. It's really bad. It's honestly quite embarrassing to talk about. It's been years and years since I've done anything like that, which is good. But in terms of like a funny, embarrassing moment,
I was just gonna say as well with the alcohol for donation stuff. I don't think Twitch actually doesn't let people do that anymore. They actually came out with a TOS thing where apparently
they had a massive TOS update.
That was because I think so many people were getting like fucked off their face with donations that they've actually said now that you can't do it, which I think is fair because it otherwise people are going to be donating money and just to fuck someone up more and more. And at times I
think it's totally fair. Yeah,
they've just got to protect themselves.
You know, like obviously people will just sometimes ignore it.
Yeah, and look, Twitch is probably not that. I did know someone that got banned on Twitch though for drinking, and they just drank a 6-pack. on stream or something, and it wasn't anything to them. They were just
Wow.
drinking, but someone reported them, and Twitch was like, "That's enough," and they permanently banned them because they weren't a big stream. And I think they'd had a couple of strikes before on minor things, maybe I'm not too sure, but they got banned for good. And they are back now. They had to really plead their case over and over. But yeah, they lost their stream for quite some time, and they didn't think they were ever going to get back. So Twitch at times, Twitch can be kind of funny. They can be kind of all over the place with like their rules.
It's very subjective. Everything
it's a little bit wishy-washy, yeah. So it's
like the TOS is very intentionally like not specific, just so that way Twitch can just use it at their disposal.
Yeah,
you know? Like,
exactly. It could do with a little bit more tightening up. I agree. What was the other you had another
I'm just
one.
trying to think of an embarrassing moment that isn't like actually like a sad moment. I would say that oh, do you want to hear a really bad like this? I don't think I've never spoken about this before. Like I think it happened on stream, and I was that embarrassed. I ended the stream.
World first. Yeah. Oh, okay.
So this is my old partner. This isn't my current.
This sounds
partner.
Juicy. All right.
I think we had an argument earlier that day.
Okay.
And I think I kind of just left it on a let's just talk later when we're both calm.
Good.
So I hung up. I think I was ghosting their message streaming. And I'm like, I don't want to respond to their messages while I'm streaming. It'll bring me down. And I saw they were calling me on Facebook, and like I was on my PC, so I could answer the call like. But I was streaming, so I'm like, oh, fuck, okay. So I just, like, muted all my shit. And then I picked up the call. And she went crazy at me. She went absolutely ballistic. She was probably in the right. Like, I was probably in the wrong. Like, I can't remember what the context was at all.
But you the argument on stream? Did you say?
Well, but I muted all my stuff, so...
Oh, gotcha.
Fine.
Yep.
Yeah, and she just went crazy at me for a couple of minutes. And I'm like, can we just talk about this when I finish the stream? That'd be great.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, cool, whatever. I ended the call, went back to my my OBS. I didn't mute my desktop audio. So, chat heard her, but not me.
Oh, God.
So, they heard some really not good stuff. And I was
so this call wasn't through phone, it was through...
It was on Facebook Messenger. Yeah, so like I answered it on my desktop. So it went through the desktop audio. And I fucked up that.
Oh man. That's
like she was like crying and everything. It was a really bad.
Oh, they can't hear you pleading your case after it.
Yeah, no, it just made me look really bad.
Yikes.
And I was like, guys, I'm gonna go offline and sort that out. I'll see you guys in like 2
bad. Wow.
Yeah. That was a really yeah.
That's funny though.
I hope that's good enough, Shell. I really hope that's fucking good enough for you.
Damn good. I think we had one more question. One more.
Hit me with it.
Oh God, where? Oh yeah. Shell also says tips for new streamers trying to start. Just trying to show more personality and or be more interactive with chat. She's asking, is that better? While sober, asking for a friend. So yeah, like yeah, she's just asking essentially just if you've got any new tips for people. Oh, did Twitchy freeze up? Did we lose him?
Oh, I'm still here.
Oh, your camera's completely... Oh, no, there you go. You're back. You look like you were very... You were just
very... maybe I was just sitting really still.
You just look like you were listening, you know? Your camera
my camera is frozen. On your stream it's frozen for me. Okay, cool.
It froze up a couple of times, but I think it's good. It should be fine. It's frozen up a couple of times, but it always comes good, like, very quick, so I haven't bothered to say anything.
Let me just stop and start the camera, because that might be causing it.
Yeah, you can do.
There we go. Turn her off.
Oh, it's just me on both. That was so weird.
There we go. Are we better now? Is she freezing at all? Or are we good?
She's not even loading now. She's not even...
Oh, shit.
Oh, no, we've lost him.
Oh, fuck.
Okay,
I'll turn her off
try
again.
And then...
And then, bam, put it back on.
Oh, there we go. Yep, you're back.
I'm back?
Yeah, perfect.
Fuck
you're back.
Yeah,
that was
awesome.
good. All right. Yeah, so if you had to give any tips to any aspiring streamers or people even just climbing to the level you're at now, knowing what you know through the journey of streaming, what would you say? What would you give advice? Even to young TwitchyCoffee who was starting streaming, I guess what would advice would you give?
I wouldn't give this advice myself because I think I already did it, but like at the same time I think this definitely helped me grow quickly. And I think it also made me have a lot of fun to begin with.
Yep.
And I would say this to anybody. I think it's very important to have small, achievable goals. I think
agree.
if you enter streaming and like you kind of think, okay, fuck, well, I need to reach 50 followers and I need to reach like 5 concurrents and I need to get like this many streams to get affiliate, and then after that it's partnership. How the fuck to do that? And this isn't advice just for, you know, people who are starting their first stream, but just
This is for
anyone at any
everyone,
level.
yeah.
Have achievable goals that are short-term, mid-term, long-term. I know you probably did that shit in high school. I know it sucked, but still, like, it is very, very important to know that you're progressing towards something.
Yeah.
And like, even if you're progressing towards partnership, it's very hard to tell because it is just that far away for most people.
Yeah.
You could be working towards it, but you might not feel like it. So like, I think have goals that you want to have by the end of this week, have goals you want to have by the end of this month, have goals you want to have by the end of this year. So for me, I would say this week I want to do this many streams, you know, and that's my goal. Stream 4 times, stream for 3 hours each time, you know, play this game, like just like things that I want to do that I can tick on a checklist. Because when you complete these things that you set your mind to, that is fuel to keep going.
Absolutely.
In terms of like, in terms of like a monthly sort of like goal, I would say, you know, aim to like, and I would say as well, it's really important to not have viewership or follow goals, like in terms of like,
because
your
it's out of
personal
control.
goals.
It's out of your control.
You don't get to choose that.
You don't get to choose that. So it's
only have goals for
setting
things that
yourself
you
up
can
there.
actually, absolutely, 100%. If you do these things and you're having fun, that shit will come. It might not come as soon as you want it to. It almost never does, but it will come eventually, hopefully, probably. I would say having goals. And a second, I'm going to give 2 because I really like this second.
Yeah, no, good.
I think it is incredibly important to be realistic. And this is going to sound like really, really harsh criticism. And like, I'm going to sound like an asshole, but I just can't see another way around this topic.
No, go for it.
I think if you're sitting at 0 to 1 viewers and you're grinding, and, you know, like you're live 5 days a week, 6 hours a day, and you're only getting the 0 to 1 viewer, what's going wrong? Why am I not growing? I think people are never willing to just look inwards and go, maybe I'm not good. Maybe I'm not making good content. Maybe this content is lower than average quality. Maybe my personality could be like a bit fine-tuned. Like there's people are very scared to look within themselves and see fault because suddenly they have to change is scary. But if hypothetically, let's say there's Billy Bob the streamer sitting at 0 to 1 viewers, and Billy the Bob, he you know, he doesn't talk to his chat, and he streams at 480p, and he plays a game from 10 years ago that no one watches, and he has like a PayPal in his panels, and that's it.
Yeah, that's
like
the...
I think at that point it's very important to look around and go, okay, what am I? I'm not saying copy other people and like mimic their streams and their channels, but see what they're not doing that you are, and think, okay, why are they not doing that? Yeah,
Twitch has become definitely more... Back a few years ago, you could get away with just doing a whole bunch of different shit, and you would probably find, like, the whole Justin Flynn was one of my favorite streamers back in the day. He's kind of what got me into the idea of wanting to stream a long time ago. He doesn't stream anymore. He got over 100,000 followers back in the day. He was partnered very early. Like, he was back when getting those kind of views and follows wasn't as often. You don't see that as much because there wasn't many people watching Twitch. I used to watch him a lot, and he started out playing like Animal Crossing on the DS, not when it was popular.
Yeah, man.
A whole bunch of just random ass games and no one cares. But instantly, he's one of those people that actually has his day one stream up, and pretty much every stream almost from the minute he started. I don't know how he got that. Wow. I think maybe Twitch back then just saved everyone's VODs, and they just kept going, something like that.
Yeah,
but
it must have. Yeah.
You can go see his very first one. He starts it up. He's complete. There's no aesthetic. He's trying to get his DS to work. The only thing that gave him an edge, I guess, in that way is that he did do a lot of DS streams where you had to have your DS chipped to be able to stream from it, so it was quite unique. Right. So maybe that was a bit of it. But day one, he started, and you could just... He didn't have chat recorded, but he constantly was like, instantly like, oh, hey, dude, good to have you. Welcome to my stream. Good to have you here. And it sounded like he had so many people from the get-go.
Wow.
Because Twitch back then was not what it is today. Now
That easy, man. That easy. It was.
there was nowhere near as many people on it.
A lot of people were smart enough to see that there was opportunity there early, and they jumped on really
100%.
quick.
And I guess not everyone had the just ability and tools to get on there and whatnot. But yeah, it's just crazy to think that now it is really starting out on Twitch is not like YouTube just yet, where it's very hard to get discovered, but it's getting that point where it is extremely hard to get noticed. So it is a grind.
Yeah.
It is a grind.
I just wanted to just respond to chat there. I think that like that's kind of I want to sort of ease up on what I said earlier regarding like, you know, if you have shit content and get fucked. It was kind of like, I think everyone starts from somewhere. Everyone had a shitty webcam with no microphone and
100%.
like streamed at 480p and played a game that they owned from 6 years ago. Like everyone started somewhere. There is nothing wrong with starting that at all. Like,
I mean,
I don't want people to think that if your production quality isn't as average as someone like myself or Matty, then get fucked. Like that's really not the case. I think as long as you're actively looking around and looking how to improve, as long as you're actively like, I think it's quite arrogant to assume that you don't need to be constantly looking to improve. You know, like I think.
What's that? Well, what's that saying where they say, trying to do the same results, doing the same thing, trying to expect different results?
Oh yeah, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Exactly, and I think that's the thing. As soon, like, I think once you got a community going, you got something happening. That's when. But I think there's nothing wrong with trying different things, and you have to compromise a little bit, because I think a lot of streamers just want to play what they want to play at the start, and they want to just do it the way they want to do it, and that's fine. But I think there is a level of energy you do have to output. It's not maybe as easy as just being able to start up the stream now and sit back and put zero effort in, just relax.
And I'd say the most critical thing that anyone could say to go on to what you just said, a very sad, shitty fact of the matter is that most people aren't going to make it, and a lot of people aren't cut out for Twitch. Not even in the sense that they don't have the energy and the drive and the motivation. Some people just aren't that personable. Yet they will still stream and they will still try to. Unfortunately, this is an entertainment platform. If you are not entertaining in any capacity, then you just will not grow. So like, I think like, and that's not to say that if you aren't naturally entertaining, then go fuck yourself. I think it's find something that makes you entertaining. Is there a part of your person entertaining? Are you a cunt? Lean into that. Be a cunt. Are you a really nice guy? Be the really nice guy. Like, be something unique. Be something different. Just don't be that guy that just just don't be that fucking guy that just sits there and just goes, I
mean, it can be hard enough to keep people engaged in our chats at times when we're talking and engaging as hard as we can. It can still be a mission to make people feel like it's worth their time to stay there. So if you're sitting there just not, but I get that it's so hard when there's not many people in there to start with. But it depends as well, I guess, what you want to achieve from streaming, whether you want to do it eventually, if you want to do it for the rest of, as long as you can do, you know, for a job, or if you want to do it just as a part-time thing, and see where it goes, or if you just want to do it to make some friends. I think there's different levels. I think the thing with me with streaming, I think if you're not going to go all in, it's hard because consistency is a big key, I think, of streaming. But then
I think back in the day you could have not gone all in, and now you like it's just you just need to give it your all. And
now it's funny enough, at the same time they're kind of certain people saying, hey, like, don't overstream because that can be a turn off to people. So it's so hard to know. No one still really knows. Like,
going all in isn't necessarily the same as streaming every day. I think you can go all in, but also only stream 3 days a week.
Yeah,
like, so if people tell you that you need to stream all day every day to anyone in chat, I would say don't do that.
Yeah, because the few people I actually know that do that, there's a couple of people that stream, I know, that stream like almost 12 hours a day, almost like That's 7 days a week, and they usually have quite low viewership. They might have a crazy amount of followers, but they have quite low viewership, which is fine. But
I think supply and demand. If there is not that much supply for your stream, then the demand is higher. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, they spread it too thin. Whereas if
people love your stream but you're only live 3 days a week, people will make an effort to be there those 3 days.
If you're there 12 hours a day, then they can jump in. There's no urgency. No urgency.
Absolutely, exactly. That's the 100% the right word to use.
Well, I
I'm
think
glad we agree on that.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a good place to wrap it up. I know you got your stream at 8:30. How did we manage?
Look,
Bro, we did like a 3 and a bit hour podcast.
that's fucking mental,
Holy
dude.
shit. This will be the longest one I ever do easily. I don't think
Fuck yeah. I get to keep the record, boys. Let's
that
go.
would be like the one to beat. I don't know if it will be possible. But I don't really... That's the thing.
Tell you what, I know when it's going to get beaten.
Who do you reckon?
When I'm back on next.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, we'll just do a 12-hour podcast every day.
Let's go, boys.
No, but I'm excited. Well, quickly as well, I want to let you plug all the stuff you're doing as well, and say
okay.
where people can find you. And
so, guys, I'm Metal Maniac Matt. You can go check out my stuff at twitch.tv/Raw Genesis.
Oh man, they're gonna have to pay back the favor on their podcast and plug you then. Wait, that sounds
100%.
bad. That doesn't sound right.
No, to be real, I also run a podcast every Thursday. I get people on every day, like your boy Matty's gonna do it, but I do once a week every Thursday. I stream just chatting like a couple other days a week, days, but it's usually about the same time, not long after Matty ends. So I don't know what time that usually ends up being, about 8:30 p.m. our time. So
yeah.
that's pretty much my thing. I do the podcast, streaming, and that's kind of just me, just doing my thing. So I see.
Yeah, so definitely go give him a follow on everything, on his Twitter. I know he's got Twitter. I know he's got Instagram, and
I don't have Twitter. My manager.
Oh, his manager. Of
yeah,
course.
absolutely.
Because we could delve into
good on that manager. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah,
he actually got this podcast as well. So that was good. Good on him. What a champion.
Leading up to this, it was all me and his manager just sorting it out, or she.
Yeah.
Don't know who they are. It's just Twitchy's agent. Twitchy got banned for reasons that are ridiculous and had to find a loophole.
Totally fair and warranted. It makes a lot of sense.
I know, he was just spamming horrible things on Twitter. No, he put his age, his
massive racist,
date of birth, and they banned him for it because it was a year. It's some ridiculous rare. I've had it happen to me as well, and it's be careful though. Just don't put your birthday on Twitter. Just
don't do it, guys.
It's not fucking worth because we both have been slapped for it.
Yeah, 100%.
So definitely go check him out. Check out the podcast on Thursday nights. I'm sure I'll be making sure I try and sling you guys there every Thursday night anyway after my podcast. But Twitchy, bro, thank you so fucking much for being on the
thank you so much for inviting me
podcast.
The first episode, man. That's fucking crazy.
I personally feel like that was a lot of fun. I feel like it was amazing. It's going to be hard to beat. I hope everyone enjoyed the long 3-hour podcast and it wasn't too... I feel like it was amazing. If anyone didn't like it, go fuck yourself. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Twitchy, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for having faith in being the first person on this.
Dude, anybody can look at your content for like 20 seconds and realize you do. And you have like a natural ability to make something that is aesthetically pleasing and incredibly engaging. So like, I honestly wasn't worried for a single second that this would be boring or dull. I knew right off the bat this was gonna be fucking awesome. And I don't know, it's maybe it is too soon to tell, dude. But like, I think this podcast is gonna go off, man. I
hope
really
so,
think
man. I hope so. And I feel like I've got a lot to learn still. I feel like hopefully I'll progress as a podcast host over the time. Obviously, it's the first one I've ever conducted myself with a guest. I've done obviously the other one with the Cactus Cult podcast for the 5 episodes. By the way, I
got past the 5 episodes.
Look at me go. There's the 5 episode podcast curse. If you make it past 5 episodes, then it's going to work. If it doesn't,
forever.
If you get to 5 episodes. Well, then it makes sense because if it doesn't work, then anyway. But 5 episodes. That's
you're going to be past that curse in the first week
on Friday. Yeah, exactly. Why do you think why I'm doing so many? I just need to blast past it.
After the first week, you just do 1 a week.
Exactly. I'll be like, all right, now I can slow down. I've beat the curse. But bro, I have to have you on again. Seriously, that was great. I love that we delved into a bit about yourself and also just went off some different topics that were just random.
Some incredible, crazy ass tangents.
Yeah,
I love it.
Which I want that to be what this podcast is. So hopefully,
can we actually start a podcast called The Tangent where we just rant about random shit?
I would love to start
not even stream related, just in general.
Yes, we can talk about whatever. I would actually love that, dude. I wanted to do something like that for a long time, and it's hard to find the right people to have on it, but clearly we could just chat. So bro,
I feel like we would not run out of anything to talk about
down
anytime
as fuck
soon.
to do that. I reckon we talk about getting something like that up and running. If you're down,
Done.
I don't know. We both already have podcasts. I'd be down to do another one, dude. So
We'll start our own like podcast network, man. That'd be great.
Oh,
I'm a little bit ambitious.
Taking over. No, I am too. I actually noticed that about you, that you are similar to me in a lot of ways, or I'm similar to you in a lot of ways, is that one of the things is that we're both very ambitious. We get big ideas, and whether we pull them off doesn't matter.
Right.
We're dreamers. We like to.
I think we both aren't scared of failure. I think that we both will try, and like if it fails, whatever. We gave it a go. Like, and like 100%. That is just so much better than never having. And you know, I sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I feel like you're gonna win with this podcast. I feel like I won with mine, and yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see where it all goes. I'm excited that the first episode is not that it's done. I'm sad that it's over, but I was so anxious, dude. In a good way, not bad, like not like but I was so pumped to just get this first episode started, so I could just be like, it's happening. It's 100%. Underway.
Absolutely.
So it's just now. Let's keep it going.
I was very much the same. Like as I was watching, even before we went live, I was just like, oh no, this will be great. This will be cool. And then like I started thinking about it. Oh fuck, I'm actually really nervous right now. So but that, like I said to you, man, like that went away. Like I feel like
I think where most guests I have on it will pretty much as nervous as I might feel leading up to. I think once you get into that conversation, it should. Once you're in it, it's like one of those things. It's like anything where you're nervous leading up to it, and then you get in it, and you're just like, "All right, I'm in it now. I have nothing, like no choice but to just do it and enjoy it." And your brain isn't nervous anymore. Once you're in it, it's that lead up to things. It's like being on a roller coaster. That's what the lead up to a roller, standing in line. In that line, waiting for when to get on the ride, your heart's beating in your chest, you're sweating, you're like, oh man, I don't know if I want to do this. And it's the minute you're on that ride, you're like, you know what? I have no choice. I'm on it now. I'm locked into it. And then it starts moving. You're like, hey, this is great. And once it starts flying around, it's even better. Like that's that feeling. I was like anxious and just wanting to get into it. I was a little bit nervous, but once I'm in it, and the more the podcast went on and got, you know, the further in, the better it got. So I'm pumped, man. And we'll definitely have you back on. Do you want to say anything to the chat before you head off to your podcast? Oh
no, just thank you guys so much for chilling with us this whole time. That's been fucking awesome. I'm gonna go create SpaceX and go ride around in my Tesla, and you guys in the next Matty stream in his chat. So yeah,
hell yeah, baby. Bro, thank you so much for being a part of it. I appreciate you, man. And I'll catch you in your stream. I'm sorry I didn't give you much time. I'm sorry, bro.
Oh, I'm going to delay by half hour. I'm going to go get some dinner. So that's all right anyways. All right.
Well, I might hold the fort. And if you're live when I wrap up, I'll send them over to you, man.
Done.
But thank you so much, dude. All right. We'll enjoy your stream. And
take care, man. I'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, you too. See you, man.
Bye, man.
Bye.